this recently because my friend was telling there's a place near where I live. It's a fully Swahili Bara Swahili dishes.
And then they have jollof just there.
No. It's fully authentic Swahili food. It was really nice. And then when we were paying them M-PESA, it just brought a Kikuyu name. You guys know Sauti So? Yeah. Tall guy bowed, yeah.
He wears Bruce.
Someone else then picked it up and was like, oh my gosh, Chiki can be in an open marriage.
Oh
and
my
then...
goodness. So a blogger just picked it
An
from
open joke isn't an open marriage.
Yeah. Hello. Can you just do a sound for that?
Yes. So I'm with my cousin. So keep in mind, my elder brother goes to school to study culinary arts. Comes back with soy sauce. I thought it was a bottle of whiskey. I'm not even kidding. I was like, what drink is this? He's like, bro, listen. This opens up and it's like, this is called paprika. I'm like, what does it do? Shh. Let's see. Over 26. This is the Burger Podcast.
This is the Brunch Club. Over 26.
Welcome back to
The mics are cool.
Now, when you watch it, you'll understand.
What up, my name is Chaxy, the mastermind, your main guy, the Lord Chaxy. The beautiful...
Sorry, do we have to call you that? The Lord Chaxy. I'm leaving.
Thank you.
The Lord. A bit of emphasis on the.
Out.
You don't have to. He only calls himself that.
Self-titled.
Yeah, it's...
No, the guys, checkmate call me that. Of course, Esther is stepping in for Mariah, who's away. She missed a flight. The amazing Mwass is around. The whole gang is around. Episode 66, we are mic check.
66.
Imagine. And it goes without saying, the amazing Chiki Kuruka is in the building.
You drink the miondoko?
Oh no, come on, that's me. I'm doing like something else. Doing my own version.
That is like the person that said, because Chiki is a dancer,
Yeah.
so you're getting the name of the dance wrong. It's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's like the person who said that I can speak Spanish. Bonjour.
That was crazy.
Like, that's French. That's not.
Who said that?
There's a tweet we were looking at. I think some hot babe was like, I'm into Spanish guys. And then some guy was just like, bonjour.
He was a Nigerian.
Definitely.
Oh my God,
But there's a Nigerian who says, my favorite CG city in Spain is Italy.
I'm dead.
Listen,
I shop from...
we do whatever works.
I bought this in my favorite city in Spain, Italy. It's like, you need to buy an atlas.
Yeah. Oh my God, can we start with strippers?
Okay.
Chiki's like, okay.
So, yeah.
Why not?
You said half your phone book is strippers?
Strippers.
It is.
Please put me in touch.
I was about to say, first of all, some context. I got a contract to train excess millionaires. So my company was training excess millionaires, but also actually even in the UK, I did a lot of stuff with strippers. I just think it's a really cool art form. I don't know how to do anything about the pole or anything like that.
So how do you train them?
Dance and fitness.
Okay, gotcha.
So that off the pole, like there's some seamless stuff.
How does the syllabus look like? Is there like twerk 101? How to whine?
Yeah.
Really mad.
What do we do? No, that's about it.
Waist training.
No, we do like 10 burpees, twerk, like a few Russian twists, twerk a little bit more. Like, of course, yeah.
Do you know what Mwass needs? Mwass needs to join one of your classes.
As an intern.
I retired.
First of all,
as
I
an
don't
intern.
like this public shaming. Mwass, you're more than welcome to join any of
Definitely.
my classes anytime you want to.
I'm wondering why.
Because the Lord.
I want to be a fly on the wall. I want to be an intern. I can come as a janitor. I'll just be...
I just want to say I'm an alumni. I've retired.
Chaxy's done the session.
Yeah, I've
It's
done
crazy.
twice actually.
Yeah,
dancing is mad cardio. Dancing is mad cardio.
You'd be ripped. You'd be really ripped. You'd look so cute.
My neck is very fit.
We rotate lower down.
Okay. Am I angling it correct?
Yeah.
45 degree.
No, lower down on the body.
I will definitely
Oh my
swing
god!
by.
So, Chiki, I think there's so much to cover, man. I don't know where to start, but we will see how much
Cover
we
me
can
in the
cover.
blood of Jesus. Let's go.
I got you. I got you. In my blood.
Wow.
I got you.
Did you see everyone's reaction? Was like, sorry,
Like
Mom.
what?
Don't worry, he only calls himself that. No one here. You know how I've saved him on my phone? Okello.
I'm dead.
Yeah.
No, he said me as Okelo minimum.
Yeah.
Like genuinely.
We already have Okello Max. Yeah. They're giving a minimum energy.
Oh my gosh. So curious, right? How much of what you do now was influenced by, because you grew up in London.
Yeah.
And you are half Nigerian, half Swiss?
Yeah. Well, I'm half Nigerian, half European. So my mum is half Nigerian, half Swiss.
Okay.
My dad is half Nigerian, half British.
You're like a whole atlas.
I'm a Nigerian.
But she's mostly Nigerian.
I'm mostly Nigerian, and I feel mostly Nigerian.
Nice. And so growing up, what are you up to? Like, what is Chiki doing as a kid?
Chiki has always been hyper. So like from 4, I think, I started dancing, but I didn't just start dancing, I started karate, hockey, chess. Like basically my parents wanted me out. So any activity that seemed kind of like safe, they were like, cool, do that. In the UK, you start dance normally with ballet. You start with your classics, ballet, tap, jazz. So that's how I started. And I just happened to excel. I wouldn't say naturally it was a passion. I wasn't necessarily one of those people who's like, I want to dance. No, my parents just threw me into everything, and it was the thing that I excelled the most at. And at some point, my teacher spoke to my parents and said, look, your kid really has a talent. I think we can go somewhere with this. Ballet, tap and jazz also have a very structured exam, kind of like linear thing. So you can say, look, I'm grade 1, I'm grade 2, I'm grade 3. So I was doing all my grades, I was doing really well. And yeah, just from then I just started dancing all the time.
Okay. Then, so this has been with you for some time, but then did you know that this is what you wanted to do, like right from that point?
No, I think it was just, okay, so I danced from 4, and when I was about 12, 13, when I hit puberty, ballet has changed a lot. When I was younger, ballet was very much white-led, body type-led, size-led, so you had to be a particular shape and size, you had to be a particular height, which actually overwhelmingly ostracized people of colour.
Yeah.
And ballet was led by non-people of colour. So I remember when I hit puberty and I was on part school, part ballet. So I was actually being trained to be a professional ballet dancer. My instructor was like, yo, nah, she's already too tall. Her hips are already too big, her boobs are already too big, and she works harder than anyone in the room. So I can't adjust her training schedule. I can't adjust her nutrition schedule. It just is what she is.
Yeah.
And so my mum kind of encouraged me into like, I was always going to like carnival. So she was like, try different types of dance, try soca, try dancehall.
Yeah.
So that just started as like more of a rebellious thing, because ballet is very structured and very, you know, formulaic and very much about how your lines are and how straight your body is. And busting a wine is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
So like, it started almost as a rebellion. It was like, well, if I can't do this, then I'm just going to do this to the maximum. My mum is very non-traditional, but my dad is very traditional. So for my dad, that was like, my daughter's joined some satanic cult or something. My dad was so disgusted all the time. Like, he just didn't want to know. Whereas my mum was quite encouraging. And then when I turned 15, I started interning for Sony. So I was working with Sony Records. But again, at the time, and it's amazing.
This is in London?
This is in London. And it's amazing how one generation changes everything, because at the time, again, it's just full of old white guys. There was no Afrobeat. We hadn't had the Tubaba yet. We hadn't had, you know, any of the guys that kind of started the generation of modern pop Afrobeat didn't exist. So I was really into African music because I'm Nigerian. That's what I was listening to at home. So I was always kind of talking about...
So who's on the radio in Nigeria this time? Just trying to imagine, in terms of artists.
So at that time there was a lot of... So what I was... No, there wasn't a...
For real?
Yeah, no, it was a bit later.
Was P-Square out?
No, Pisco is way later.
Way later.
So you're talking D'banj or Two-Face as
so
my introduction to Nigeria. No, apart from the Femi.
So I think they came... I think after I started, I think Two-Face won a MOBO, which is Music of Black Origin. It's the biggest award you can win as a Music of Black Origin artist at the time in the UK. I think he won it maybe 2 years after I started working for Sony.
Okay.
So at the time, it was just kind of this... There was a lot of gospel sounds coming out. I was listening... My uncle had moved to South Africa, so he was sending me a lot of like... Kaiso, like I was just listening to like things that I wouldn't even know how to describe it right now, to be honest. Then a few years later, Two-Face came and there was that Afro R&B phase that was really popular. And yeah, but just because it came out doesn't mean it was marketable or sellable.
Oh yeah.
So when Two-Face won the MOBO, of course it was huge, but working with major labels, they didn't still see the value of it.
Yeah.
Was there any African artists under Sony at that time?
No. African artists have become under major labels maybe in the last 6 years. You'll be surprised how recent, maybe 6-7 years. This is a very recent phenomena, having mainstream labels signing African artists. So I remember having like fights at 15 when everyone was like, shut up, why are you even here? Go get us some coffee. Like, and I was, and saying, you know, this is ridiculous. You're all these older white guys. How do you know what we listen
Young
to?
listeners, yeah.
And dancehall was obviously huge. Reggae was big. Soca in the UK is very, very big. So I remember kind of trying to pitch it like that. Like, you know, you've got these other sounds. There's also going to be this other Afro wave. So I always kind of balanced dance with music. From working with Sony, then I was working for a dance agency. Then I just always kind of just balance the two. So I wouldn't say necessarily, this is what, it just happened. Like, I think I was just always in the right place at the right time. And I've always been in creative spaces. So if you're in a creative space and there's two things that you really enjoy, you're going to be able to do one of the two things.
It's interesting because I know we're going to discuss this later, but now you interning at Sony and maybe having a bit of experience with how the music industry works and what you're doing now, like it's just full circle now.
Full circle.
Literally.
Full circle.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
So then, when do you come to Kenya? How do you come to Kenya?
That's a funny story, to be honest, because, again, like everything else in my life, it just kind of happened. Like, I just feel like...
Free spirit.
I'm just a free spirit, yeah. Like,
I also saw Mbachi said he didn't want to play rugby. He was just bored one day and then he went to the beach.
yeah.
And now he won like an Olympic, whatever.
Yeah, like, honestly, I really feel like
Yeah.
if you put out into the universe, just... I'm ready to receive whatever you give me, and then you kind of flow with it. I think the universe is never wrong. Yeah. So you end up just kind of flowing and things just end up happening. So how I came to Kenya, in all honesty, and it sounds bad, but it's true, I think I was just running away. So I had been fighting with, I'd left Sony and I was working with an independent label called Soko Records. They were more inclined to work. So I went to uni with Fuse ODG. So I was really passionate about, after Zonto came out, after Antenna came out, I was like, this is a bit of a case study now. Like, come on, you're not telling me that this isn't another way.
When Zonto is huge here, because when it dropped...
It wasn't huge.
Yeah.
So it wasn't
in the UK?
huge in the UK,
Okay.
no.
What?
I think in the UK it got re-released because Antenna was bigger than Zonto. And even Antenna... Antenna was big. Antenna was our first mainstream pop Afrobeat hit. So all these other songs that were big here, African Queen, D'banj, Make Me Fall in Love, they were very niche in the UK. You only found them in very niche black spaces. You would never switch on the radio and hear that. So you'd have to go to very niche black. So the reason why Fuse ODG still is celebrated in the way he is the first African artist to be on, we call them like the white people's charts, like Billboard's charts. So it was crazy to me. So we're still having this back and forth. I'd left, I'd gone to Soko Records, I was still dancing at the same time. And I just felt so frustrated. And I was like, I just don't even know what else I can do. I'm bored. I'm irritated. I've tried. Let me just leave. So my two friends are Kenyan and I just followed them. And then my uncle lives here. So I was just like, well, at least I have some accommodation. And Nigerian culture, probably like Kenyan culture, is if your niece is coming and you can't say no.
No,
like,
you can.
Even
That's family.
Even if you want to, you can't say no. So I just kind of pitched up with my bags and 10 years later, like I had no plan. Like it wasn't even like
it just happened.
I had no plan. I remembered saying to my dad after about 3 months, Dad, I think...
So you didn't even know how long you were going to be there?
Nope. So I remember telling my dad, like, yo, I think I'm, like, moving here. And my dad goes to me, okay, also, excuse my dad's ignorance.
No, it's cool.
Understand that in Kenya, in the UK, we don't get that much communication about Kenya. And as of only maybe last year has there been a growing East African community. Somalis are actually our biggest East African community. There still aren't so many Kenyans, right? So just saying so that you don't judge my dad. So my dad was like, I know you like fitness, but now you want to be a runner?
Because we are known for running.
Yeah.
So I was just like, no. But it is mad. I didn't know that there was such thing as a curvy Kenyan woman until I came here. And I remember when I was
What do you think we're...
because we only
all the
see
marathoners.
athletes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
So I remember, and my two friends who are Kenyan are also very petite. So I remember like when I came here being like, oh my God, wow, that girl's got a massive butt. Oh my God, wow. She's got like, and being really like obsessed with that for a while. But yeah. So now I had no plan and just everything kind of
It's
worked
always
out.
weird when you do something random and then it just works out.
Yeah.
Yeah, comes with a lot of fulfillment.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to stop saying innit?
I still say it.
What does it mean?
When
Isn't
will I
it?
stop saying it?
Is it not?
No, isn't it?
Is it?
Isn't it? In it is, isn't it?
Isn't
Okay.
it? Is
But-
it not?
Oh, okay.
What's
It's
the
called
difference?
innit.
Isn't it is a positive statement. Is it not? Is it not? It's
That's so true. Yeah. I hear that now.
I'm lost.
but isn't it is like
I'm
it's
still
like
lost.
it's like a jeering, like deal.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
So you can say that girl has a big nyash in it.
Yeah.
But you can't
That
say,
girl has a big ass, Indio.
but you can't say, it's gonna rain in it.
No, you can't say it's gonna
yeah.
rain. It's not just about positive things. It's
Okay.
more like
emphasis.
an emphasis.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a directive. It's gonna rain, innit?
Okay. That's what we're calling the show.
Innit?
It's gonna rain in it.
It's gonna rain, innit?
In it.
Episode title, innit?
No, it's hot
Innit?
today. It has to be like it's hot, innit?
Whatever title we'll choose, we'll put in
We'll
it.
Innit?
put- yeah, we have
Right,
to
of
finish
course.
in it.
Do you use it
featuring
with a question
Cheque.
mark or like with an exclamation?
Exclamation.
Okay.
No, it can be a question. Depends what comes before the word in it.
In it.
Strippers in it.
Featuring Chiki Kuruka, I love it.
Oh my God. Do you still go back to excess?
Nah.
Why?
Because the thing that I love the most about excess, I can access without going to excess, which is the ladies.
Because you have them on your...
Are you hiring interns, janitors?
What's the answer?
Security
Janitor
guard.
So bad.
Sorry, what access do you think I'm referring to?
Oh,
Just,
dancing.
How are you?
Training.
Like, just no
Yeah.
WhatsApp messaging, like, you
Oh,
good? You're like-
I thought like we'd have a book club, play chess while stripping. You know, it would be fun.
Strip chess.
Scriptures, yeah.
Strip chess. The strip
Yeah.
game for the intellectuals.
Yeah. Every time. Yeah. If they claim your pawn, you're like, okay.
Oh, man.
Checkmate.
Then, a quick one, right? So, you use dance
As an avenue for fitness.
for fitness, yes.
Or wellness.
Wellness, fitness.
Wellness.
Okay, just break down the whole thing.
So for me, dance is about mental, societal, community, as well as physical well-being. Fitness is a physical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you? Because I know you are. I know you work out a lot, right? But then, do you necessarily gym? No.
Define gym.
Gym is weights.
Nah.
So gym in the context of what the usuals, the normal
But
setup in
that's-
Kenya.
Like,
That's
do you
the
do
normal,
boxing?
I was
Do
gonna
That's
you...
the
say-
normal setup in Kenya.
Yeah, because that's not actually a thing. Gym is a physical location.
Yes.
My studio is defined as
As a
gym.
dance gym, yeah.
So a gym is just a physical location. So what you've said is, do you go to a physical location? Yes, I go to many different physical locations.
English, in it.
It's not that. Actually, it's a big problem with the wellness industry in Kenya
Yeah.
and what actually prevents a lot of people from training because people see a very minimal approach to what training is.
Yeah.
You've got outdoor experiences like running, like team sports. People always kind of remove, oh, I play basketball. That's a fitness activity.
Yeah.
I run. That's a fitness activity. People have this kind of like idea that it must be kind of packaged in this kind of
Day,
like
back day,
CrossFit kind of, and even within a gym setup, there are so many different things that you can do. You can do CrossFit, you can do HIIT, you can do aerobics, you can be a swimmer. So that's why I always try and push back on what does that mean?
Yeah.
Do I do different types of physical activity? Yes. But they take many different forms, many different guises. And I really kind of stand for, if dance isn't your thing, that's okay. Dance isn't going to be everyone's thing. But I really encourage people to do some form of physical activity, irrespective of what that physical activity might look like.
So I've been working out my whole life because napping is a form of wellness.
Fitness and wellness are two different things. So you might have done a wellness activity every single day.
You see, like every time you wake up from a nap, that's a sit-up.
Nah.
Or a rollout. It depends. Like,
It depends how you're getting off the bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, I've been working out my entire life.
Congratulations, we've learned something new today.
I'll add fitness.
I think we've constantly been discussing AI because everything is happening simultaneously and we are always getting new information, new platforms every single day. So there's always something to discuss within AI. Has that impacted you in any way?
I just had this light bulb. Like, there's one thing that AI can't do. If you can't dance, AI can't do anything about that. You can't dance. AI can't teach you how to dance.
That's not true. You can have.
It can teach you.
You can
step by step.
AI dance instructors. Of course, you can.
Really?
Yeah.
Even now, you have like VR technology where it simulates a dance class experience.
Yeah.
Okay, of course there's the dance class experience, but then like if you can't dance, you don't
if you
have the
can't
skill
move.
of dancing. If you're like a Chinese, it's
Then
just
if you
not
can dance?
happening.
What do you mean? China wins global hip hop awards.
Oh no,
Every-
like there's the ones who
They
can
can't
dance.
busting
can
a
dance.
No, busting a wine is what you're talking about. Grooving.
Yeah. Like when you go to like the clubs in China, what are they doing? It's not even like dancing. It's between jumping and head bobbing.
White
and,
people have been getting the flack this whole time.
No.
supposed to be
Chinese
Asian
people do have a very.
They like the squared structured dances are so beautiful, and they have like they love the activity of dancing, the togetherness of dancing, the rhythm and flow that Africans have.
But what's so fascinating is the Chinese ballet company, Chinese b-boys, Chinese poppers, lockers, and whackers
are always crazy.
are always some of the world's best. So it's funny how they have these kind of like micro community Chinese acrobats
and
that are
excellence.
globally excellent. But I think it's the natural community-based experience of groove. And I think it's something to do with rhythmically, Africans have always communicated using drums. Chinese haven't. So how we experience music and then respond to music is then
It's different. Yeah.
So how is like
But go on AI.
yeah. How does AI influence or impact what you do?
I
Because I
think
know you I don't know, you still have the virtual classes?
Yeah, so I think any person now who is running an organization has to ask themselves, how do they integrate AI into that organization?
Yeah.
And if they're not, they're 10,000 steps behind.
Yep.
They might not have an answer yet. They might not have the funding to do it yet. They might not have a conclusion yet. But if it's not something that you're thinking about, then you run the risk of someone else thinking about it and you've lost your entire industry. AI is not something that's going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
For me, of course, you've got avatars, virtual type experiences. I mean, like, I have been training for 20-something years. An avatar could learn how to do that, like, immediately. You see what I mean? And be able to teach these kind of virtual experiences. It hasn't yet happened. And I think it hasn't happened. And I was having this conversation with Bien the other day. There is some experience that we have, either as concert goers. I went to see Richie Spice last night. Either as concert goers.
Was it that? What time did he get on stage?
No, he was on time.
Okay, what time?
He came on at 1.
Okay, sure.
And then
I can't believe
performed
that
until
is the definition
2:45.
of on time
Wow,
at concerts.
almost 3
yeah.
hours.
That's crazy.
Reggae artists go hard.
Yeah, and he's just phenomenal. He has
was
like
worship.
Like
8
Richie
people.
Spice, like the Jamaican guy.
Yeah, he was there.
What?
You didn't know?
What?
That's what Chiki was last night. Yeah, he had a concert in Nairobi.
Until 2:45.
Yeah. It's phenomenal.
God,
Live,
that's
all live.
crazy.
All live.
live.
His and then his vocals don't even shake. Anyway, the reason why we like live music of this generation, and we are going to be old soon, some faster than others.
I mean, you guys.
Some sooner than others.
The Lord remains young.
So we have been raised to enjoy the energy of community-based experiences, right? So we like concerts, dance classes is the same. Like during lockdown, it was very hard to recreate the energy that you feel
When
in
you're
a
around
dance
people,
class.
yeah.
So I was trying to weigh up the other day with Bien, is that just because that has been our upbringing? In the same way, there are people who are the generation above us who would argue sitting down around the table and discussing the news will never be something that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Or sitting around at a Sunday and waiting for your favorite TV program to come on versus everyone having their own Netflix accounts.
Yeah.
They can't perceive something like that happening. But I'm thinking, what if the generation of now are raised having only virtual type experiences?
Yeah.
So, because normally most people's argument is, well, you'll never be able to recreate the energy of a live experience.
Yeah.
That's only because that's what we know.
That's what we
Yeah.
know.
But if a generation below us knows no different and they will enjoy that,
Yeah.
I don't yet know what the answer is for dance, honestly. I just know that you'd rather be on the train than trying to stop the train.
Yeah, for sure.
It would be quite interesting to, like, if you could prompt like a chatbot or something to like even create like a choreographed routine from
No,
scratch.
because
scratch,
no,
like a
what's
meal.
going to happen is going to be crazier than that. Some AI technology is going to know what your mood is today at some point. Therefore, the exact type of movement that's going to make you feel the exact way that you want to feel. Because everyone who does dance classes, sometimes the choreography slaps, sometimes it doesn't slap.
Yeah.
So what AI is going to be able to do is make such an individualistic experience where today this person's feeling sassy. We'll just know. Okay, so the choreography is going to make them feel exactly the sassiness that they want. Or today this
amplify
person
it.
is feeling energetic. So in real time, the choreography is going to be this energetic experience. Whereas an instructor, if you're teaching 30 people, 40 people, you know that it's going to slap for some.
Yeah.
It's going to not hit the mark entirely for others, and it's going to be downright whack for some. You know, what an AI is going to be able to do is going to fix all of that for everyone.
Oh wow.
Are we still doing the carnival?
Yes, I had a meeting with the Barbados embassy yesterday.
Okay.
I'm actually going to Trinidad in February.
Yeah, tell us about that. Yeah, because you mentioned earlier.
For Carnival?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's
In
nothing to
Feb.
say. I'm going.
Are you coming back? Are you coming back? Is there a chance of you coming back?
I think if my husband
You're going
didn't
for
live here, I wouldn't be able
performance,
to.
right? You're not just attending.
So how Carnival works is either you go as an attendee, or you join a band. So joining a band is kind of how a performance basically is you kind of walk down the road in the same outfits, doing similar choreography for like 7 hours straight in the sun. Yeah, no, soca dancers are fit.
That's like a marathon. That's like
It
a
is
marathon.
really is,
for 3 days. It's not for like
Oh.
for 1 day. It's 3 days.
Have you seen their bodies?
Yes.
Like, ooh.
No, actually, that's another big misconception. Body imagery and fitness are two very, very different things. We know now that 70% of how we look is genetics. It's got nothing to do with fitness. Because if you look at soca bodies, actually they come in every single shape and size. That's why so many people like it, you know, because everyone is welcomed. Everyone is...
How much is a ticket? How much do I need to show up?
To join a band.
3,000. You're looking all in about $4,000.
Okay, around
To
4,000.
join as a band.
No. So to join, okay, so it depends on who you are.
Okay.
It depends on. But we're talking about the Lord.
That's what I'm like.
Lord.
Yeah, because you can pay $5,000 to join a band, and then everything else would be maybe another $5,000. So it's about $10,000.
And by that time, the dollar will be at 200. So
No.
I hope
Ugandan
not.
dollars.
I hope not. But so and in Nairobi?
In Nairobi, so the issue is always with Nairobi is so a carnival is an expression of culture. The culture stems from the Caribbean islands, overwhelmingly not Jamaica. Okay. So to do carnival justice, it has to be rooted in soca music. But Kenyans yet haven't warmed to soca music. So to do a whole carnival where it's not soca music feels really disingenuous and actually feels offensive.
Yeah.
If you look at what's happening with Notting Hill Carnival right now in the UK, it's a real ripe conversation happening around Afrobeats in Notting Hill Carnival. And a lot of people are saying Afrobeats really shouldn't be in Notting Hill Carnival because, and that's no disrespect to Africans or Afrobeat culture, but I do understand that Carnival is an expression of a particular culture which comes from, connected with soca and calypso music. So I haven't yet figured out how we do that. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want to be in the streets of Nairobi listening to Gengeton.
You do, but you just don't want to call it carnival.
Not at the carnival.
Yeah, just don't want to call it carnival, yeah.
But the gig, I think the gig at K1 was beautiful though.
So the last one we did was great.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
The outfits.
We had
Oh, there was a soccer night.
no, we had a carnival.
Yeah, she had a carnival.
And people went all out. Like Chaxy was in his element. We had chicks who literally came topless.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Chicks who came topless.
You need to
Yeah.
see
Like
the pictures.
full topless.
Don't you have my
I'm
number?
sure,
Yeah,
there's
like-
pictures online
There's
somewhere.
one with just nipple.
Oh, bruh.
Okay.
With
Nipple
feathers
glitter.
and
Yeah.
color.
They get
Everyone
like-
looks so colorful.
Okay.
Nice.
These are outfits you get into the Uber with, or you come and change them.
Definitely come and change there.
Okay.
And we actually took that into consideration. So we had a safety area.
Ah,
So we
nice.
had an area where you can come change. We actually had because again, even the sexual connotation, like in Europe, in the Caribbean, in America, in places where carnival has been around for a very long time, men know what it is. In Kenya, men don't necessarily know what it is, you know? So
But they support it,
some
like-
people are getting very excited too fast. So we had like a breakout spot where if women felt overwhelmed or intimidated,
go,
there'd be
okay.
female security guards. They can also report if they felt like someone was being inappropriate. So we tried to kind of like kind of consider what the issues could be so that it doesn't end up being, can we swear?
Yeah, of
A
course.
shit show.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can use all the cuss words apart from the D word.
Which is that?
Cheese.
There's no D word.
Dickhead.
No.
There you go. But
In it.
yeah.
In it.
In
So,
it.
like, so because when we're talking about different things, there's a constant thing that we keep mentioning. It's just the difference in cultures, maybe from between the UK, and that translates to what kind of music people listen to, and the experiences that follow with that. So then, how different how different is your career now here in Kenya, and how different would that have been in the UK?
I think, how long is a piece of string? Like, that's absolutely impossible to answer. One thing that I know is I am the type of person, I love people. I put myself forward. So I truly believe that any space that I would be in, be it the UK, be it Nigeria, be it Kenya, be it anywhere, I would figure it out. So it's really hard for me to answer that question.
Yeah.
However, I've just had an amazing 10 years in Kenya. It's been an amazing experience.
It's been 10 years now?
It's been 10
Crazy.
years.
Whoa.
Really?
I came here, 10 years next year, 2014.
Time flies.
Been with BN 10 years, guys. I could have had less time for murder
I thought murder was 25
in
to life.
Kenya.
Oh, okay.
Crazy.
10 years.
In Kenya. So then, so okay, you've told this story before, but you have to tell it. The guys who've never listened to the story.
Don't
The
tell
story
me
of
how did you
met
meet
Bien.
Bien.
You just have to say it. I know, that's why I literally gave the disclaimer.
It's like it's like, you know, when someone says no offense and goes ahead to offend you. That's
But also,
basically
it's like when you're an artist and you have like a hit song, which probably you recorded a year ago. You're tired
did
of
you come
listening
up
to it,
with-
but everyone wants you to sing it.
Yeah.
And they just have to sing it all the time.
Yeah.
The no offense thing is worse when they put it after they say something offensive.
yeah.
They're like, fuck that sweater. No offense.
I was saying, like, that seems to be like a black universal language.
Yeah.
Like, insult and then
Yeah.
it's not that
offense.
bad. Yeah, exactly.
It's like sprinkling that piece of advice after you give someone advice and you're like, but you do you though.
Yeah.
It's up to you. It's in your court.
Just listen, Bien. Let that happen.
It's okay.
So,
We'll join you at the carnival next year, Batwan. Next year, Batwan.
Talib was coming to perform. Talib Kweli came to perform. I'm just a live music head. So I went to go and see him perform with Emmanuel Jambo, who, the funniest thing is I had just met Emmanuel Jambo like like a month prior. It was just, I met Bien 3 months after I got here. So I met Emmanuel maybe like a month prior to that.
Yeah.
And
Shout
I
out to
just-
Manu.
Shout out to Emmanuel. I just didn't know so many people here. And Manu, because like, what really kind of like made me feel, and again, it's amazing what a generation can change, because 10 years ago, Kenya, Nairobi was much stiffer than it is now in like the mainstream. So like, even just walking into certain buildings in jeans or whatever, like you'd have some like mama at reception just judging you, like, or some dude just looking at you like, well, you're not serious about your life. So
Or straight up come and tell you you're dressed indecent.
Australia.
They would, like in Uganda, people can come straight up and tell you that
straight
you're
up.
dressed
Really?
indecent.
No,
Yeah.
even in Kenya, they're well, you'd see it in their eyes.
Yeah.
They wouldn't say it, but
they'd
they'd communicate.
say it. They
Yeah.
communicate it, exactly. So I remember meeting Manu, and he was dressed in some like ridiculous pair of trousers, and I was like, that is my guy. Like, this is the kind of energy that I've been looking for.
This is Manu or Bien?
Manu.
Manu.
Okay.
Jumbo.
Bien would never wear ridiculous trousers. So Manu was wearing. Okay,
I guess.
mind yourself, the Lord.
The Lord.
Oh, you're gonna meet the actual Lord.
So we were going to Talib's concert. It was in the car park. This is the time that Surayako was like at its peak. So it was just being played everywhere.
So
I knew the
You
Jam,
had the jam before, okay.
but I didn't know who Sauti Soul were. And understand, as someone who, the phraseology Sauti, when you first come here, you can't hear that. You hear salty.
Oh, so
Like salt, like
Okay.
chumvi. So I remember when I was in the car park, Sauti had just won the MTV award for Surayako. So they came out, they were super excited, and I just remember seeing this really tall guy. And at the time, my experience overwhelmingly is Kenyans weren't like tall like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, you've got this tall, confident, loud human being. Wow. And I was with Manu. And then Manu was like, this is Sauti Soul. And I remember thinking, what a weird name. Like, you're calling yourself Salty Soul. What does that even mean? All right. So I went into the club, and it was like weird because, okay, so they left because the club was too packed. But it was weird because it was almost serendipitous, because as I walked in the club, Sorayako actually came on. I went to my uncle and I was like, oh, I was just with the guy that sang this. Anyway, flash forward. A month later, Emmanuel Jambo, again, he had just shot for Vogue Africa. So me and a friend of mine went to go and see the exhibition. I wasn't actually going to go. I was in my pajamas, but my friend, I had promised her that we'd go, and it was one of them ones where you're trying to get out of it. But she is like very, very like in your face. So she just turned up dressed at my house. So I went. And that's how close I was to not meeting Bien, actually. Like I was in my PJs, comfortable. So she was like, let's go. We went. Anyway, I'm sitting there. This chick had been in Rwanda for the last 5 years. So Sauti were already the biggest band in Rwanda. So then I'm just sitting there chilling, and then she just starts bugging out. Now, I don't actually know this chick very well. She's a friend's friend. She'd come to Kenya. My friend had called me from London and asked me, please show her around, take care of her. So I didn't know if this was normal behavior or if this wasn't normal behavior, but she just starts bugging out. So I'm just like, you all right? She's like, oh my God, look who's just arrived. So I look over and Bien has just arrived. So I'm like,
Yeah.
that's the dude from the car park. So then she's like, no, that's the guy from Sauti Soul. So me being me, I'm like, I know him. I'll introduce you. So I'm like walking over, and then like as I'm walking over, and it's quite a big place. It's what's this place called? Anyway, Casablanca. So it's a huge place. So as we're walking over, in the time that it takes for us to get from our seat to near where he is, 3 people have stopped him from selfies. So at that point, I start thinking, oh, maybe he won't remember me.
Because you barely met.
I met you for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe like chick from the car park.
Remember me?
Like, which car park? I know.
Do you know how many bitches I meet in a car park? So I walked over and I'm like, hey, do you remember me? And he was like, yeah, thank God. Oh, I do. So then my friend has just decided to just be silent. So now I'm embarrassed because I've like stormed over with her.
Now you're the super fan.
And, and now it looks
Oh my
like...
God, now you're the groupie.
Exactly.
Oh
It's
my
like,
God.
I'm one of those people who's like, you know my friend, when really it's me. So then we go outside and we sit down, and then he's like, oh, I'm gonna smoke up outside. Do you wanna come? And I was like, yeah, cool. So we sit outside. We're there chatting, and my friend is like this under the table, messaging people in Rwanda like, you never guess who I'm sitting next to. So I'm also looking at her like, girl, this is...
Act like you've been.
Also
bro,
act
like...
normal. Like, so
just chill.
Just chill.
Yeah.
But I think what was kind of beautiful is like, at some point, we were the last people there. And I honestly can't tell you when my friend left. I honestly can't tell you anything. And we just vibed from day one. It was just like that, like a friendship vibe. Like we just...
So there's no
chatted,
sort of
chatted.
attraction yet at this point?
Okay, why are we grilling it?
Like psychoanalyzing it now.
So in all sincerity, what for me, I'm the type of person is I don't presume just because I'm having an interaction with someone of the opposite sex. I've had male friends my whole life.
Yeah.
That is anything more than an interaction. Like my mind doesn't even necessarily go there.
Gotcha.
I have a lot of male friends. I'm in a dance industry. I'm in a music industry. I'm also surrounded by quite a lot of attractive people. That's just what the entertainment industry overwhelmingly is.
Yeah.
So it was just a really beautiful interaction where we just hit it off straight away. Anywho, as we finished the conversation, I said to him, look, I'm really good friends with Fuso DG. Let me chat to him. Maybe you guys can do something together. In the UK, it's very different. The etiquette is you don't just hand out someone's phone number like that.
Yeah.
So then Bien messages me the next day. He's like, hi, it's Bien. I bet you never thought I was going to message you or something like that.
Of course,
this sounds like
typical
Bien.
Bien.
But I was like, yeah, I did think you were going to message me. Because I said I've talked to Fuse. Like, see, that's where we left the conversation. Yeah. So in the meantime, I'd spoken to Fuse and I said, yo, there's this band from Kenya, Sauti Sol. And Fuse was like, oh my God, I love them, blah, blah, blah.
He knew them already.
Loved them.
Gotcha.
So then I felt like a dickhead. So I was just like, okay, cool. So I was like, look, I spoke to Fuse. Here's his number. So BM was like, amazing. Can I take you out for a drink? Again, context. In the UK, the creative industry is very insular. So when someone hooks you up, like, it's not very open. Like, it's not easy to just get into.
I'm going to use that next week.
Use it.
Her vagina was very insular.
That means you're doing something wrong.
I've done for 2 weeks.
No, but it just means that he's... That says more about his talent than the woman's vagina, to be honest.
Disinsular.
No.
Open. Open.
Open the door.
It's not there.
Whoa.
So no, it's a very insular industry. Okay. So it's normally common practice. Like if you've hooked someone up with like a number or whatever, you just take them for a drink to say thank you. You know, it's kind of like etiquette. So I assumed again, it was just that.
Yeah, it was just thank you for the hookup.
Thank you for the hookup.
Yeah.
So he took me to
Where did he take you?
Mama Oliech.
Mama Oliech. That's where you go for drinks. Mama Oliech is where you go for drinks.
So I remember coming from, like, and I hadn't been in for very long.
Bien him normal.
Wait, this is he's taking out for drinks.
And
Mama Oliech.
in his mind, first date.
Wait, so let me ask. So drinks, Mama Leche, it's soda and water? Or
No, there's drinks.
There's
drinks,
drinks,
okay.
but it's like mainly a restaurant. You know what I mean?
So we're sitting there.
So are you dressed up, dolled up, everything, or you just...
I think I was all right.
Okay.
Not PJs this time around.
Not PJ. No, I didn't do the PJs. That's a manual jumbo. So I think I remember just thinking to myself, why am I in a tent? And then, like, this cat is walking by.
Oh my God, I'm going to use the tent outside.
Why is there a cat walking by? Why have you taken me here? And that really was my feeling. I was like, did I do something wrong? Do you hate me?
He's like, yeah.
If you'd have taken the phone, you'd have been somewhere nicer.
Yeah, exactly, my dad. So like it was weird. So after that, he was like, I'm going to studio with Sauti, do you want to come? So I was like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So just before we went to the studio with Sauti, he just moved into his new apartment and we went back to his house and he played me Nerea. Nerea hadn't been released, wasn't even close to being dropped. And I remember that was the moment where I was like, oh, okay. This isn't like, okay, this is, for me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit.
And I swear that bitch which knew what he was doing. You know?
It sounds very nicely choreographed.
Yeah.
Do you want to smoke up? Give me your number. Let's go fish.
Yeah, then
I just moved in.
Then
Let's
to
go
my
to the studio.
apartment before we go to studio.
Unreleased song is basically telling you, I trust you so much.
Yeah.
And so I'd actually asked him on the day, which was actually like weirdly romantic. Like I asked him on the day, look, why here? And he said, no, I remember you mentioned yesterday that you had never really tasted really authentic Kenyan food and you'd gone overwhelmingly to like kind of high-end restaurants and you were really searching for the culture. So I just wanted to take you to what I consider to be one of the hubs of the culture.
That's really...
That's true though.
I was just like,
Yeah.
smooth guy. Anyway, 10 years later, here we are.
Married.
But what I found out...
Yes. Oh, love it.
Just
Let me position myself from
it's not juicy. From one of his friends is a lot of this was very choreographed.
Definitely.
And he knew from day one. So he thought when I was with Manu that I was dating Manu. So he had spoken to Manu without my knowledge. Was like, yo, who's that chick that you're with?
Yeah.
That you're dating these days? And Manu was like, that's just Chiki, that's not my chick. So he was like, man, I need to meet this chick again. So Manu was like, oh, she's gonna come to this thing. So he came to this thing. And now knowing BN,
Oh my.
now knowing BN, he would never just turn up at an event by himself.
Yeah.
That's not who he is.
He wouldn't.
He wouldn't.
He's barely anywhere.
Yeah, he
actually.
doesn't go anywhere like
So,
that. All his boys are like, nah, from day one, for him, it was like, this is the chick I'm going to marry. From that conversation that we had in Casablanca, he told everyone, no, that's the chick I'm going to marry.
That is crazy that he saw that, like right from the jump.
Cute.
Aww.
So step one, have a photographer.
Step two, learn to sing. no, step one, have a hit record.
Have something to go outside and smoke.
Insula.
Insula. Step three.
Insula.
Step three. Mama Olech, this is open. We'll do a sumo.
Sumo. There's a sumo
Step
now.
four, look for someone who's looking for authentic food.
Samaki.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so now that we're even in this BN discussion, right? Because it still integrates into, because we want to get into also what you're doing now. I want to play this clip. I don't know whether you had this, saw this, but this is more than a drama queen on this podcast discussing BN and Chiki.
Oh. No, then, no.
No?
Better be positive, though. That's
No, of course.
that's my
Don't-
friend. Of course. I would feel very
Good?
offended.
Okay, ready? Okay, let me play. BN. Goldman.
Hey, BN is Beyonce.
Oh, he is. Oh my goodness.
BN is Beyonce. B, yeah. I think, I think everything he thinks and more will happen. Is happening and will happen for him. Yeah, and I think it's critical that BN succeeds.
True.
Also
It is.
for the music industry.
True.
Yeah, I think he's critical.
True.
Yeah, but I think it'll be it's more than what it's. Yeah, everything he thinks is gonna happen and more. Yeah. So for him, my hope is that there's some systems that are built, because that's also a very heavy burden to bear. I think it's a heavy burden for Chiki to bear. Oof, yeah.
She's held it down for 5 years.
Yeah, because the other side of success is,
very nasty.
it's heavy.
True.
It's things. It's lots of things. It's lots of things, And a couple who work together. We actually were talking about that with BN. I said, I hope you go and sit with Eric Wainaina and Shiba Hurst. It's not all couples who can...
Truly ride it through.
to do that work in this industry, to bear somebody else's dream, to carry somebody's vision, which is, what she's doing, what Chiki's doing now in management. It's not for the faint-hearted. And so for them to talk to a couple who've been through it, just to acquire some tools, because, that's you can't know
needed.
what's going to happen in life, but just some tools to know how
get
to
you through the
distinguish,
journey.
to get through the journey. Because I also think it's really powerful. It can be really powerful if you find your partner who can be your partner in life, in business.
In everything.
Yeah. It's just one and the same.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. But without the other person losing themselves to your
In
journey.
your,
process,
exactly.
So,
Or feeling like they've forsaken their dream for yours.
For yours.
Yeah. So, Beyonce, definitely.
Ooh.
So that makes you Jay-Z.
That was exactly what I was gonna say.
Okay, sorry. You can say it.
Now that makes you Jay-Z, huh? In it.
I think I think for us personally, we see it a little bit differently from that.
Okay.
We say all the time, it's a family business. So we don't try and separate it out like that. Like, this is BN's dream, this is BN's vision. No, this is a family business. In the same way that if it was a shop or if it was any other business, it would just be perceived as a family business. We all have our role to play in making the family business
Work.
Yeah. And we try and remove, all of those things, like the Beyonce-ness, and anyone who knows BN knows that he just doesn't even subscribe to that way of thinking. For him, it's, we're a team, I play my part, you play your part, and the vision isn't his. So even the idea of like losing yourself to someone else's dream is not BN's dream, it's a family dream. So that for it to be a loss would require for it to be one person's dream or one person's want. Together we make decisions, together we decide. And there are a lot of decisions that I make that he wouldn't necessarily agree with, and vice versa. I'll give you a perfect example. He didn't love Inauma. I loved Inauma. So I was like, no, this has to be our next release. It's nice. And he was like, no, we're about to go all over the world. It's full Swahili. And I was like, yeah, but it sounds so pretty. The world will be able to understand it sonically, blah, blah, blah. Let's just freaking release it. It's not a big deal. You'll notice it took a long time for him to jump on the challenge. I said we have to have a TikTok challenge in order for that. So I think the problem is when you don't know what happens behind the scenes and you don't know how intentional we are about being a team. It's easy for it to look like BN, because he is the musician, he is the face, he's an incredible talent, he's been doing this for a very long time. It's easy to look like BN and everything for BN, but it's not. It's a
But
family
you understand why
business.
people just
Sure. But I'm just saying that's just not our reality. And I think normally that's when it fails, because then someone will feel like they've given up a part of themselves. It can only work if you're in it together. If you're in it.
Can only work if you're in it.
And that's a different in it. But it can only work if you're, because otherwise you're someone's wife and their employee. That's different. That's a different dynamic.
When at what point does the conversation of management happen? At what point?
Did it happen for us?
Yeah.
I think every wife will be able to understand in some way, shape or form, they're a manager. And I think, every partnership will have someone who does in their home or in their life, for their life to work, management. That's true of, I think, successful families. So I think a lot of stuff I was just doing just because, like I said, it's a unified goal. I think it became official, I guess, about a year ago, midway through Bold Men Anthem.
Yeah, okay.
When I was working on the Reset and Rewind video. No, I was working on the Bold Men Anthem video. Yeah,
Okay.
I was
That's the
working
one
on the
that came
Bold
out
Men Anthem.
first.
That's the one that came out first.
I think it's so after I get my photographer friend and we and we get to this
Go on,
point
let's
where my
add-
wife
This one is just
my,
here taking notes.
because I want my wife to be my employer as well, so I can say cute
You
shit
want
like,
your wife to be your
But are you
employee?
going to be a good? Are you going to be a good
I'm
employer?
gonna be a good
You
boss.
didn't get what he said.
I'm gonna be. I immediately pay a salary. I'm asking, take me out. Or I tell you, call in sick tomorrow. So we can go out of town. You know how cute that would be if you get an email like, I can't make it to work tomorrow. I have the runs. It's like, okay, I'll take care of you. And then it's like, you got any off day? Yeah, let's go to Naivasha. That is beautiful.
If that's your definition of cute, the runs, then...
The runs, no, you don't have the runs. The runs are on email. The runs are on email. What's the most annoying thing about Bien?
Wow.
Not in a bad way. Like, like when you live together, like
Like in a good way.
yeah, like the person who uses the bathroom slippers in the sitting room, or like never returns the salt shaker where it's supposed to be. Yeah.
The most annoying thing about BN is also, I think, a very positive thing. So that we are the polar opposite. I'm a type A personality. I'm a planner. I'm a scheduler. Bien does whatever feels...
Vibes and inshallah.
Vibes and inshallah.
I feel seen.
Vibes,
I feel seen.
You can plan a whole day for Bien, and then in the morning he'd be like, Zima's there. And you're like, but I've done so much work to make this thing. And then he's pissed, like, Aki babe. Imagine, I'm tired. And it's like,
Imagine.
yeah, we're all tired. So, yeah, that's definitely the most annoying thing about Bien. But it's also what I love, because he would say the most annoying thing about me is that I'm a planner.
Yeah.
So whenever we go away, like even holiday, I'll be like, okay, cool, babe, 7 o'clock, let's go for a walk on the beach. 9 o'clock, let's hold hands for 10 minutes. Like,
Oh, you schedule that in.
I schedule it. So he kind of forces me to be a bit more sporadic. And I think I kind of force him to be
A bit
a bit
organized
more
and with
organized.
planning.
Yeah.
Which
We,
is nice
we
'cause it's
both
compliment-
fail,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
try.
That's nice partnership. I feel like it gels nicely because
Yeah.
it feels crazy when you're off schedule, and for him it feels crazy when he's on schedule.
It makes me
Yeah.
itch to be off schedule. I hate it.
We're supposed to be holding hands. We're
yeah.
walking on the beach.
Yeah, exactly. We're 3 minutes late. What are you doing? Cream your hands.
Oh my goodness.
But man, I think I'm so happy. I'm happy with the progress. I think that you guys have made, and I'm sure I can only imagine how much more music is coming out.
Yo,
that is
the
ready.
album is ready, basically.
Alusa, why are you topless?
Alusa, why are you topless?
What
That's
is
the
that?
title of Bien's album.
Oh,
Yeah.
So why are you topless?
Bien's name is Alusa.
yeah, I know Alusa, yeah. But, okay, context.
I can give you context because he's already said this publicly. So when Cheque came out, and of course it was this like massive...
Yeah, they took their shirts off a
moment.
lot in that time, yeah?
So his mum watched the video and called him, and the first thing she said was, Alusa, why are you topless? So she was like, that's going to be the name. Yeah, genius, ding, ding, yeah.
Got you. When is it dropping?
September.
Okay.
Oh, this is September.
Oh,
Yeah, so I think we have another single, maybe 2, and then the album.
okay.
Awesome.
So how many? 1 or 2?
We'll see. We might have some other cheeky surprises in between. So
All right.
Remember, Chiki makes the plan and then Bien does what he
so basically, I don't know.
So the plan is there.
The plan is there.
But the will
The will is there. but then-
Implementation, who knows?
Yeah. So I don't know.
Chiki unaweza amka hivi siku moja in the house and you hear a song playing, you're like, you're still playing your unreleased song. Then you find it on radio.
with like it's on YouTube. No, honestly, you've heard the Nana remix.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, na.
Nah.
Yeah.
That's
Joshua Baraka, yeah.
That's exactly how that happened. Like honestly, we
Alichukua flash disk akakimbia.
Yeah, no, it was like that. Too Easy was already in the planning. Choreography's being done. Videos being shot. And then he was like, also, babe, by the way, tomorrow, Joshua Baraka is coming from Uganda. I'm on the remix. We're doing the video. I was like, but babe, see...
Tomorrow, yeah. Tomorrow the day was...
See, your video is being released for Too Easy. He was just like, babe, see, I've already done it. Let's go. So I'm like, now, the date that this thing is being released is the same date that Too Easy has been released. It can't work. He was just like, it's okay. You just talk to his manager. Let's see what they can do. And I was like...
But also, it's a nice thing that you're already a planner, because I can only imagine. So now there's whatever needs to happen with the Bien's music. There's all the projects you're working on as yourself. So if you don't plan, it's impossible to get all those things done if there's no proper planning.
Absolutely impossible. Like...
Have you tried printing out the schedules? Giving him physical like this. Because now if you tell him, check your email.
We've
notes around the house.
We've done email, we've done WhatsApp. I've written it over my naked body. Like, nothing is working.
Sorry, man.
Nothing is going to work.
I see why the third one can be distracting, but the other two, maybe print it out and give it to him.
Sticky notes.
No.
Tell him, so this is your plan for tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, but you know, like schedules have to be like they change, yeah? So like something might happen in the morning, something might happen in the afternoon. So there's no way you can do a printed document because things are active.
Yeah.
So Listen, we just kind of promise one another we've done our best. All you can do is your best. If you didn't turn up to some of the scheduled activities, it's upon me to kind of realise you're not doing that because you want to piss me off. You're not doing that. You want yourself to thing to succeed as much as I do, and vice versa. So it's about giving each other the grace to kind of be like,
okay,
it is what it
Grow.
is.
Serious question about marriage that I got in my DMs.
People are DMing you about marriage.
Yeah.
He's lying.
I'm just saying, like when I told some of my friends,
Strippers in it.
I'm actually a marriage counselor by profession.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Really?
Everything is possible when you lie.
No, he's a liar.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be
You're
lying. Yeah. I'm a
Anyway,
Nigerian, I know.
Very serious. My friend told me, if you're gonna, Chiki, I know she's happily married, so ask her this question. Do married women steal hoodies from their husband?
Yes.
So it doesn't stop?
No.
That's a serious question.
So how do you steal a hoodie in the same house?
Like, so you know the craziest thing now? Bien is now, like, Bien is generous to a fault, actually. Except for when it comes to his fucking hoodies. So, like, Bien will even say, like, don't touch this one. This is for a music video. Because he already knows, like, don't touch this one. I haven't even worn it for an event yet. Or I'll be on IG stories and then he'll DM me, bitch, that's my hoodie. Like,
But it's in your house. Like, I don't get it. Like, if you steal my hoodie and say, now this one is mine, and we live together, it's still mine.
no one is making a statement, this one is mine.
So you just wear it.
We're married, it's ours. Everything is ours.
So if you find Bien in your thong, it's fine.
I've always told him it's okay.
that'd be great.
It's him who makes the choice not to.
I don't think that would fit though.
And if
It'd be so hard.
Unless one
It's him who makes the choice not to, but he's more than welcome to my thongs.
Yeah, wouldn't fit. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
He's not a thong guy.
Is he a boxers or a briefs guy?
Why do you want to know?
Curious.
We're
This is the
curious.
podcast where we ask you questions. We won't
Ask
hear
all
on-
the
on
questions.
Kiss FM.
Yeah.
Is he a boxers or a briefs guy?
Or he just doesn't like wearing undies. Also, because that's a possibility.
Yeah.
You guys have
Yeah.
to wear Chaxy, Jesus. What's it? Are boxers baggy?
Yeah, boxers are the baggy ones.
Oh,
And then briefs are the tight ones.
he wears the tight Calvins.
Why?
I don't know what to do with this information, but now I have it.
You figure out what you
I
can
think
do
I
with this information.
randomly just say it when it's awkward. You know when you go to kiss someone and then they pull back? And then
Bien
there's
wears-
silence.
Bien
And
wears
like,
briefs.
yeah.
I'm like, by the way, Bien was bruised.
It's
This
a
is an awkward
conversation
Bien wears
starter.
briefs, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, by the way, you won't believe this. Bien wears briefs.
Yeah.
At the end of an interview, like, do you have any questions for us? No, just a fact.
Fun fact.
Guys know how to sew? Yeah. Tall guy bowed, yeah.
He wears bruised. I'm literally gonna use that somewhere. Random.
Or like if you're queuing at the supermarket and it's taking long, you just stop someone. Did you know? Which makes sense because I buy my briefs from the supermarket.
Right. Like tomorrow.
You buy your briefs from the supermarket?
They're so good, yeah.
Supermarket.
Yeah, the one that starts with letter C.
And wait, you buy briefs from the supermarket?
Yeah.
The French one.
Like the one I've left in your house today.
Sorry,
bought from the
let's
supermarket.
rewind.
goodness, yeah.
And you have my other one from last weekend.
I have it.
In Nanyuki.
I have only 2 briefs.
Now I have 2 left.
So 1 second. What happens as you're removing the briefs in Chaxy's house? You're just
See, we're in the shower.
together.
Both of you.
No, he was brushing his teeth. I was
That's-
taking a
that-
shower.
Yeah, then he's taking a shower.
Okay.
I love that. I love
was
that
this morning,
comfort. I
actually.
love that comfort because for girls, like I feel like girls, it's like girls do that. You know, like your roommate. Okay, not taking a shit. Like your roommate is doing her makeup, and then you just like stroll in, take a shower, tits out, and everything.
Yeah.
And then like guys are so like about it unless you're in like a gym
Have
or.
you ever been to a male boarding school? I think that's a lie that guys are like that. Like I think male boarding school guys are super. They have no choice, really.
Yeah, but it's because there's really no choice.
Like
Yeah.
free with their interaction. I think when you leave, then there's a bit of a pressure not to be like that. But I think everyone's natural. I think there should be more nudity.
I agree with you,
Absolutely,
bro.
absolutely, absolutely.
I think that should be the only
you.
conclusion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's a nudist. Like she just stays naked in her house.
It's
Me,
so
no, me
it's
too.
so liberating.
Actually, that's a very funny thing. Bien goes to me, babe, when we have kids, are you still going to just be walking around?
yes, absolutely.
I was like, I will.
Because when you're home, it's freeing.
Yes, it's a hot,
I don't have babies.
it's a hot day, you
When are
know?
you guys getting babies?
Who knows?
Oh, wow, again. No one knows. This family, that's vice.
She has scheduled Bien at a kesho.
No, I think one thing you'll know about us is we share when we're ready to.
Okay.
You don't see any pictures of our wedding. You never will.
Which I like, by the way.
Yeah, we share when we're ready to. I think there is a big pressure for people who are in the public eye to give everything to the public eye. And I think that's really dangerous to your relationship.
Yeah.
There are certain things that I do believe should just be between the two of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a nice thing because you guys are always misconstrued in interviews.
Oh my gosh. Can I tell you also a very freaking funny
Yeah.
story? So the other day, before BM went on tour, he took me to get my nails done. He's never done that before, by the way. So clap for BM. Can we clap for BM, please? We've gone from Mama Oliette to getting nails done.
And he waited in the salon?
He also got his nails done.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So, first of all, the funniest thing is in Betty's salon. So,
I saw your story.
yeah.
Okay.
So, as we walked in, Betty is also my friend. So, as we walked in, I screamed, "Oh my gosh, Betty!" So, she was facing the other way. And then she took a really long time to turn around, which I thought was hella weird anyway. And then she turned around and she was like, "Oh, Cheeky," almost like, I don't know, like it was an off vibe. So I was just like, what's wrong with this chick, man? Like, she's the coolest chick. Anyone who's met Betty will tell you, like, I think if someone says something negative about Betty, I blame them. Betty is amazing. So I was like, why is she being so off of me? What have I done something to her? So then we're walking, and then BM's like, okay, this is awkward. I'm just going to tell you that when I booked the appointment, I told Betty, be cool. I'm coming with my side chick. Just be cool. So when Betty had heard Betty, she didn't know who she was turning around to.
Okay.
She said that she felt guilty because she was like, I know Cheeky. She's like, do I tell her? Like, this is really awkward. And then she said the reason why and then this is our friend, yeah? She was like, the reason why I decided not to tell her is I figured, like, you guys are in an open marriage. So then she goes to us in the lift, like, what's it like to be in an open marriage? We're like,
Actually, ask
like, honestly, like, really,
What?
you know us. Like, you know us. Like,
Where did this rumor come from?
And everyone who talks about it hasn't watched the interview.
Everyone who talks about it has ignored the multiple times both of us have said, neither of us have ever said that. But I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
we're a pretty boring couple, so I quite like it because that, even if it's a lie,
Yeah.
it's an exciting thing. It's
Something
quite
interesting.
Where did it come from? Because I've never understood where it came from.
So it
but I
came-
see it online all the time.
Yeah,
let me try and guess.
Even people who defend me. So there was a time where BM was in Dubai, so I went to go and see Nyashinsky with Nameless and Wahoo. So I was there with Nameless and Wahoo, and guys are like, are these guys having a threesome? And then guys were like, leave Cheeky alone. She's already said she's in an open marriage. Like, even guys who are defending me, that's what they're using to defend me with. I was like, wow, I mean, I appreciate your defense, but no. So it came from an episode of Soul Family.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think the problem is, Bien and I are friends first. Like, with our marriage, we
not a problem.
very much, no, for people understanding us.
Oh, okay.
So with our marriage, we always try and be boys first. Like, we laugh a lot, we chat shit a lot, we take the piss out of each other a lot. So there's that game that, like, a lot of couples at least refer to. Like, oh, if you could cheat, who would you cheat with?
Okay.
Normally, it's someone who's, like, incredibly unattainable. Like, it's just, like, it's a theory more than anything, yeah? So Bien had said, who was Bien's? I can't remember.
Fantana.
Now it's Fantana.
Now it's
2023
Fantana is very attainable.
2023 is Fantana.
That's very attainable.
But 2023 is Fantana.
But at the time.
At the time, it was, I think... and then Bien's type is actually the opposite of me. Like, he really loves dark-skinned women overwhelmingly.
Okay.
So there was all, like, 3 beautiful dark-skinned queens. Anyway, I can't remember one of them. So then mine was Idris Elba, Skepta, and Stormzy.
Yes.
Okay.
The Holy
So-
Trinity.
Top boy in it. The Holy Trinity.
Holy Trinity. So when I was in Ghana,
Yeah.
I bumped into Idris Elba. He was recording Boasty in Fuse ODG studio. So, like
You
I
heard
said,
Boasty
Fuse
as
is
it was getting recorded?
a little bit.
Oh.
So Fuse is a really good friend of mine. So I had gone after a club night to just hang out with Fuse, and just so happened Idris Elba was there. So I just walk in like with all my girls, like boom, 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 and then Idris is there, and I was like,
Act normal,
Whoa.
act normal.
And this is the first time.
yeah, exactly, act sober.
Have you ever seen him? Have you ever met him before? Or this is the first time.
Never met him before, so I'm like,
damn.
act sober, act normal. Am I sitting straight? Blah, blah, blah. So then I leave, and I'm like, Bien, I'm in studio with Idris Elba. So Bien is like, dude, if you don't fuck him tonight, you're never gonna get the opportunity. But people need to understand that's mine and Bien's humor.
Yeah.
You know, like if I were to come home the next day and be like, I did that, he'd be like, okay, and there's the door. You know, like exactly.
I mean, I wanted to ask, is that the time he wrote Inauma?
That's the time he wrote Nico Sour.
That's the time he couldn't sleep. He's like, babe, first time, you know, now kuna network. Imagine if your phone was at 1% and it legit died.
So
just saying I'm
there's
with Idris.
no, but it was a bit like that because there's Wi-Fi at Fuse's house, but of course in between there's no Wi-Fi, and we had gone to 24-hour breakfast after. It's like it was a whole night, and I was with all my girls, like it was a vibe, and my sister, like it was awesome. So the next day he was like, "How was it?" How was it? And I was like, yeah, it was all right. We didn't actually end up staying for that long.
Could have lied. Be like, we're actually still together.
No, babe, I'm with the man of my dreams.
Not now.
First and foremost, God bless Idris, yeah? Like, all of us girls turn up, and within 0.05 seconds, he was mentioning his wife every 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like it has to be like the cross.
It was like
stay
that.
back.
Also, it was just like, it was like that. He was like, hi, how are you? My wife's name's Sabrina.
She got COVID for me.
Like you live in Kenya. My wife is also East African. So yeah, it was very much like that. No, so it wasn't. But so
that's a good point to say something like Bien wears briefs.
Yeah. Oh, my husband wears briefs. So that story came from that. So because we had that joke on Soul Family. Yeah. Someone else then picked it up and was like, oh my gosh, Chiki and Bien in an open marriage.
Oh my
and then
goodness. So a blogger just picked it
An
from
open joke isn't an open marriage.
Yeah. Hello. Can you just do a sound for that?
Yes.
And then Bien went on over 25s and said, and it's so funny, Bien and I are always trending for this open marriage thing, and we don't even know what we've done to contribute to it. Like, it would just be an innocent thing, and then next thing you know, more evidence. And it's like, oh my gosh, that was, okay, cool. So he went on over 25s, and he said, in a marriage, I don't believe you own someone. And that's always been our perspective. Like,
I
with friends.
watched that episode.
Yeah, and it wasn't saying, you know, like, you go fuck everyone. It wasn't. It was just like, you know, you as soon as you try and hold someone down, in that kind of restrictive kind of sense. A marriage is beautiful when you're choosing someone. I choose Bien every day. Bien chooses me every day. That's very different from you have no choice, sit down, you know? And so that's kind of how we operate. Different people are different, but that's how we operate. Yeah. That then, again, more proof. Just the other day, apparently we were on
Edgar. There's more.
Everything we do, if I sneeze next to someone, that's proof. Yeah. He DM'd me he DM'd me like, have a good time with your bitches because I was away with my girls. And no, have a good time with your hoes because I'm away with my girls. Then I DM'd him, have a good time with your bitches. It's a joke that people don't get because we have 2 dogs. Oh. So anytime we leave, I'm like, enjoy time with your bitches.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So he screenshotted it and posted it like lol, but he was posting it like, oh my gosh, my wife is so cool. Then the next day, our social media guy comes around like, yo, you guys were all over Edgar Obaris. More proof that you guys are in a open marriage. And I was like...
But even if you say it as a joke, like, yo, because now he's on tour, if you're like, go have fun with
exactly.
I mean, just for fun.
No, I would never share our DMs again because like we chat some utter shit in our DMs. Yeah, so definitely, it always ends up Chiki ni bibi Kilonzo.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, wow. You even mastered the Swahili, the Swahili word for it.
and Bien is out here.
Yeah. Oh, then I saw there's the clip of Bien clearly needs to get on stage. So you come to get Bien on stage. Remember the clip? And then there was a lady I think was trying to take a picture or something.
No, she was busting a wine on him.
Busting a wine.
Oh, sure. Yeah, oh yeah. Then now, yeah, because I remember seeing that again and guys are like, oh yeah, these guys are, you know. I'm
And
like,
then-
bruh,
and then-
she's working.
Hold up.
She's the manager.
Hold
This
up.
guy
Give me
is...
a phone. I need to. So someone personally asked me to record this when she's answering this, so I can send
Answering
it to her.
what?
This question, this particular question.
So you were going to ask it? Because
No,
you just
ask it.
you
Ask
just
it.
said me.
Oh my god. No, we just need to record the answer because they know what the question is.
You can send the video and it comes out.
No,
Just
he
get
wants
exclusives.
exclusive
Don't worry,
shit.
it's one
Okay.
person. I'm even posting online. Let's go. Were you being a manager or a wife at that moment?
So, first and foremost, me personally,
Context,
I
yeah.
have bust a wine as a married woman on multiple people. Yeah, I don't think. In fact, I truly believe, as both a wife who wants my husband to do well and a manager, for him to do well, he has to have a heavy female fan base. That's part and parcel of who your fan base has to be.
Yeah.
So, and if you're like a sexy symbol or whatever, that's part and parcel of who your fan base has to be. So I actually had no problem with that. Context. That chick isn't the only person that I pushed away. That's the only video that was captured. I had pushed away Dance General. I had pushed away, there's some other nigga. In fact, I had pushed away 3 men before I pushed away that girl. Because what had happened was he went on stage and then a stampede happened. So we took
What
him...
event is this?
This was the Gilby's launch.
Okay.
So he went on stage and then a stampede happened when he came on stage. So he walked off stage. At that time, the security were overwhelmed with the stampede. So all of his security just ran to go and sort out the stampede. So in that moment in time, Bien was completely left by himself next to the stage. Now, anyone who's done any global management, and I do understand a lot of the comments, people haven't left Kenya. They don't know how out in the rest of the world, when artists are being managed, you shouldn't have access to an artist like that. You really shouldn't.
Definitely.
And the side of the stage is actually the most vulnerable time. We're in a day and an age where Baba Owino can shoot a DJ simply because he doesn't play his song request, you know? We're in a day and an age where DJ Melindi is shot in New Year's Eve just recently because the song request wasn't shot. So played. So artists must be protected, especially in vulnerable moments. So I was pushing away everyone, including that girl. But the more people that come over, the more people see, oh my gosh, this guy is not being protected. Exactly. So it's imperative that no one is there because especially if you're doing something big like dancing and grinding, it causes focus onto, oh my gosh, this guy is just alone. This chick can come and do that. So my issue was actually never with the girl. I would never have an issue with a girl over something like that. My issue was 100% with the security for leaving him vulnerable at a time, at a side of the stage, in a time where crazy shit happens. On the other side of it, people make major allegations about things that artists have done. You have to be careful who has access to your artist because someone can turn around and say, actually, whilst I was there, Bien stole something from me. And they wouldn't say that. But just for example, like I was at the side of the stage, Bien stole something from me. It's dangerous to have people just coming up like that. And those allegations do happen, not the stealing necessarily, but allegations do happen. Violence does happen. All of this kind of stuff does happen. They're not figments of imagination. So for me, it was more, this is our biggest artist, guys. What does it look like that you just have easy access to him like that? Even like what Madoni was saying about it's imperative for BN to change the industry, for the industry to grow. It's imperative for those messages to be clear as well. You can't just walk up to your biggest artist. You think you can just walk up to Burna Boy and do that? Of course you can't. No one even would. You can't just walk up
You won't
to
even get
Davido.
close, bro.
You won't even get
And Burna Boy is
close
his own
like that.
security.
Yeah, you won't even get close like that. So for me, it was more that. It was partly security. It was partly, we can't just keep letting this happen why? Just because it's BN and he's accessible to people and he's cool with people and that we forget the fact that he's Kenya's biggest artist right now. Like he's Kenya's biggest export right now. We can't forget that fact. So yeah, for me, I definitely wasn't being a wife because if I was being a wife, I would have busted wine next to her. And then that would have
Love
been a whole
it.
separate thing.
Love it.
Yeah.
So just to clear, in a nutshell, you had it here on mic check. You're not worried about us. You're
No,
worried
no,
about
no, no, no.
assassins.
Amen.
Innit? Okay.
And so now, are there? So from my experience in Sony, are there things that you did or learn at Sony that are now coming in very handy?
Yeah, a lot. I think standing your ground is a big one.
Yeah.
A lot of people will not get your vision. So many people will tell you no. Like, that's dumb idea, blah, 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 blah. You do have to learn who to listen to and who to ignore. That's a big lesson that we use every single day. Know that no one is your friend. Like, it sounds like a horrible thing to say, but it's an actual fact.
Like within the industry?
Just within those spaces, it's a transaction. Like, you at that moment are a transaction, or someone is a transaction. No one is your friend. You can be polite, you can be friendly, you can be respectful, but no one there is your friend. Your friend are people who, God forbid, if you got into a car crash tomorrow, you would call. So if I'm not going to call you in that position, you're not my friend. We're respectful, we're cool with one another.
Yeah.
A friend is someone that you're going to be on set and you've run out of beverages. And you call and be like, yo!
And they order in.
Hook me up.
I hear
I
you.
owe you a pack.
I've got so many now.
This sounds like a no offense after.
So
I get you. This is my password.
Okay.
So-
Must be the finest Ethiopian coffee. Don't get a
Mwass.
Nescafe for her.
It's not even
No,
coffee.
it wasn't even coffee. No, it's
not even
an
coffee.
actual thing that happened.
Yeah.
No, Chaxy.
Oh, I was thinking it's about the black
No,
coffee.
no, no,
Okay.
no.
This is an actual
Chaxy has held me
situation
down
she's
a
describing.
few times.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think just know and know that people are very fake, but don't take offense from it.
Okay.
It's their job to be fake. It's their job to smile in that moment. It's their job to make you hear what you want to hear. That's their job, you know?
Yeah.
So smile with them, be equally as fake. And I think especially for us Londoners and for Nigerians, that whole smiling and being fake thing is actually quite hard. But you learn that you can't really get ahead if you're just kind of like blurting out your feelings all the time. It's not
We're really curious to hear what your thoughts are, right? And we were discussing this earlier. I strongly believe that we don't have the proper infrastructure or a proper system or the network that someone like BN deserves to really become that megastar that he's capable of.
What do you
and
mean by
that's
that?
talented. So it's like we're using the example of Burna Boy, Whiskey, David as examples. I mean, they have homes in Nigeria, but they're not really based there. Because the system, the machine, the oiling that they require for them to be to that level probably require them to move to the UK. So it's like Bezos. They have Bezos for operation. So like most of Wizkid's operations don't happen in Nigeria. And it's just the sad reality of how the system works.
Yeah.
So does it make sense?
It does, but I think it's missing a lot of context. Burna, Wiz, Davido have slowly built their base in the UK in particular. I think David in America more so.
Yeah, David and most
For
in America.
years.
True.
Like for literally 10 years. When BN and I went to the UK last for like 6-7 weeks, we saw how possible that is. It just is something that doesn't happen overnight, but it's possible. So I'm not sure if it's simply about local systems and the lack thereof, or if it's about being better in the way we manage our export and making sure that we go into these UK spaces, spending a lot of time there, shaking hands, blah, 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 and slowly but surely building up that base, because those guys will tell you they were doing small concert halls of 500, of 600, of 700. Then they'd come back a year later, do 1,000. Then they'd come back a year later, do 1,500. Then they'd come back a year later, do... And it makes sense because in those markets, your streaming revenue is significantly higher.
Yeah.
So you're earning a lot of money off secondary income. Now, I would say a better example, rather than Burna, Wiz and all of those guys, is now Western artists who have better streaming options. So it would be good in this continent in general if streams were worth more. Because then if streams were worth more, you wouldn't have to go to the West in order to build up these bases, in order to do that. We'd be able to just more effortlessly do it from here. So I think just as a continent in general, there has to be more investment into, DSPs, what the value of the different DSPs are, and just those things. But it takes time, man. Like even, the America, England, they've been building industries for forever.
Yeah. It doesn't happen overnight.
It doesn't happen overnight.
But then would this be a consideration for BN, especially for a career? Like having more than just bases where he can operate from? With more access to, like you're like saying, global markets. There's people you're not going to meet in Nairobi frequently.
I mean, BN this year is probably spending out of the 12 months, 3 months in total in Kenya.
Okay. That's exactly what it takes, but unfortunately.
That's Christmas, Easter, and
anniversary.
And not Easter. Anniversary, we were in the UK, and probably not Christmas.
Okay.
It's just moments in between, because I think also what's important, what Burner have done well, what Wiz have done well, what David has done well, is never forget your people.
Yeah.
Never forget your home market. These Westerners are only interested in these guys because of their home market. And you see, the moment you lose your home market, you also lose everyone else.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we never want the world to forget that Bien is proudly Kenyan. He's proudly East African. He can be anywhere that he wants to be, but he will fly the flag of Kenya wherever he goes, which also means you can't spend years outside of Kenya. You have to spend time in Kenya. You have to be at home. So, I think it's not about spending time necessarily during those times, just in between when he's being booked or doing videos or whatever, making sure he just comes back and lives normal life. Like,
okay.
His version of normal, obviously.
Speaking of normal lives, celebrities usually book reservations with fake names. Do you guys do that?
Nah, Chiki and Bien. In fact...
reservation for two.
You've already heard that we have a bit of an issue with planning. So we turn up, and if there's a table, well and good. If not, we'll go somewhere else.
Because there's always somewhere with tables.
You set up the reservation and everything, and then Bien just orders in.
There's that too.
Okay. and another question, like, have you ever been to a restaurant and your bill is just cleared because of who you are?
Okay, so yes, and a couple of times actually.
Oh damn!
Do you sometimes
by other people?
Yeah, and sometimes it's by people like we don't know. There was a funny one recently, like a year ago, where the guy had cleared the bill, but not the alcohol because that's haram.
Which one is more? Which one is more?
Neither of us are big drinkers, so definitely the food was more.
Okay. I thought maybe you just had maybe like a starter and a bottle of champagne. And you're like, your bill is 36K, but this guy has cleared 400.
And a Dom Perignon. No, we had, it was mainly food. We had, I think, a cocktail each. So the cocktails came to like 700, 800, and then he cleared everything.
Except the 700.
700.
I mean,
we're not doing that. We're not pissing off Allah. We're going to do the rest.
Got you.
Keep it halal.
Yeah, keeping it halal.
Isn't it interesting, maybe, what doors and places fame could get you? Like literally, in a positive way. I mean, there's the downsides for everything. But there's just doors you're like, if I was not known or if I didn't have a following,
so,
these are doors I'd probably never
Again, we
down.
kind of reframe that. We see it more like it's a transaction. Like it's a value exchange. Because also there's a lot of work that especially Bien has done to build himself to the brand that he is, so that when he's in particular spaces, and he's now Bien, that's as a result of 20 years of working on being Bien. So it's not fame per se that has brought him there. It's like 20 years of hard work. And then there's a value exchange because definitely wherever we are, they're definitely going to capitalize off the fact that Bien has been there or Bien goes there on a regular basis or whatever. So, and, life is funny. It kind of works in cycles. Chaxy, the drunk idiot that I would see stumbling around in festivals, if I had just treated him how he looked at that time, who would have known that we would be sitting on your podcast one day? Listen, like this podcast is so motivational, inspirational for people. I did a Red Bull. What do you call them? Like
Jägerbomb.
study. No, a Red Bull Jägerbomb. Yes.
Really?
I don't know. You just said drunk idiot. I was like, okay.
No. Drunk idiot is Chaxy. As soon as the camera's like done. Okay, cool. No. We did like some study, trying to find out what young people are into, and Chaxy's name came up like constantly and consistently, and I was so proud because I was just like, I remember the drunk idiot. So like, I was like, this is such a beautiful thing that all these people are bringing up your name, and he didn't pay them.
I don't even know. You're the one who told me about it, actually.
Yeah,
Like,
I called him.
I didn't even know. Yeah, you just randomly told me. I was like, damn.
And it was so beautiful. Someone else was there from Red Bull and they were also in their feelings. They were just like, why are you guys gassing up Chaxy for? And I was like, gassed up.
Sounds like what your colleague would say. Who are you?
Chaxy. This nigga. Really? I mean, Chaxy. Yeah, no, so life is funny. So I think we all try and kind of just respect one another's space, respect what people have brought to the table, respect that other people are going to bring more things to the table you don't know yet. Respect that just in virtue of being a human in a space, you're entitled to a particular level of respect and understanding. And so that's what I'm saying. I'm funny. BN is also with the fame idea. It's just there are some humans who are more recognised because of the work that they've done. But that doesn't mean there aren't going to be other humans eventually that are also recognised for the work that they've done. And that doesn't mean you don't recognise humans just because they're human.
It comes with a greater responsibility as well because it's too many eyes on you. Lastly, from my end, then I don't know if they have...
I have a very serious marriage question I'm saving for this.
Oh my God,
Another
seriously,
one.
marriage counsellor.
I know. you should have all the answers.
Me and my marriage counselor because I cancel marriage. The ideology doesn't work. Karen Chaxy.
What is Chiki working on? What are you excited about this season for you?
Okay, so definitely BN's album. I'm so excited. It is really good. Like, it's a really, really good album. And it's kind of like awkward when you're like, it's a weird dynamic to be a fan of your husband who you work alongside. It's a weird one, but it's definitely very exciting, and the album really is going to be amazing. There's a lot of cool features. He just
Can we get him on the show when the album drops? On the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll call you.
Yeah. Call me.
Okay.
I know BN loves Chaxy.
I know.
Call my manager.
We've called him before on the podcast. And he had a lot to say. We're like, okay, cool.
You know, BN like me has a big mouth. Honestly, being in our house can be exhausting. So that there's another thing that I'm working on at the moment. It's going to take me about a year to finish it, but there's a gap in the market, in the dance market, where coming from the traditional background that I come from, ballet, tap, jazz, where there's a grading system, there is a big gap with African arts for grading systems. And what that does is it diminishes their value. So if you can say I'm a grade 1 or a grade 2 or a grade 3, let's just say Afrobeat dancer, you know the value that comes with it. You know the work that comes with it. In the same way, if you're a grade 2 piano person. And then, so what that does is it stalls the entire industry. If you're a grade 5 pianist, people are going to pay you as a grade 5 pianist. If you're a brown belt karate, people are going to pay you as a brown belt karate. Whereas here, I could have come from Madare versus someone who's trained at Sarakazi for 5 years, or I could have come from La Vie, or I could have come from Kile, and I'm just like, yo, man, I'm a dancer. Versus someone who's trained for 5-6 years, there's no way to distinguish the difference necessarily. And right now, the way that most people distinguish the difference is by social media, but that's not 100% accurate, because there are many people who aren't great content creators who are absolutely great dancers. So
the numbers on social media could be misleading, because people could have different types of numbers based on other things.
And some people buy.
Some
buy
people
them from
followings
Pakistan.
as well.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to say anything.
Sometimes silence is
Number
loud.
9. Anyway, shout out. Sorry, back to you.
May I just say, Dr. Pizzo, I don't know what you guys are on about.
No. I think you said everything you needed to say.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm working with the Ministry of Education to create a globally recognized grading system for Afrofusion dancers. I just think it will just change the narrative entirely for what it looks like for someone who's been training for 4 years, 5 years. It gives a value standard as well. So yeah, that's something I'm incredibly excited about working on. We're not just working. So Kenya is part of a global education commission. So as soon as something is accredited in Kenya, it's also accredited in America and the UK and all of these spaces.
No,
so
within
it means
dance?
something. No,
Generally?
full stop, generally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, NITA, N-I-T-A, the Kenyan Education Board is a globally recognized authority. So so that's how a Kenyan degree, you can go to the UK and someone's not going to be like, oh, that's just for Kenya. No, it's
gotcha.
recognized in the UK as well. So that's something I'm incredibly excited about because I know the impact. I love Dance Your Style. I head Dance Your Style East Africa, which is in Kenya. I'm hoping we get an amazing we will get an amazing dancer, but I'm hoping we do really well. We go to Germany in November, thank you, to compete. So I'm really looking forward.
How different is this year from last year? Because I genuinely haven't seen anything yet. I'm waiting for you guys to come back to Nairobi because I haven't been able to travel. But I'm guessing now we're in Nairobi now, right? For original.
So it's in my studio at the moment. How different is it? Yo, man, the counties have stepped their shit up.
Which was the most surprising?
Kisumu. Kisumu last year.
He's from Kisumu.
Jesus.
No. Kisumu last year was a bit of a struggle. Only because I think the severity and the weight of the competition hadn't hit Kisumu.
Okay.
But it's amazing because we went there last year and then going there again this year. Kisumu and then just good vibes. I think you can always tell how creative a space is when the vibes are positive because creativity requires positive energy, you know? So Kisumu was just good vibes, sexy men, 6-packs everywhere you look.
Jeez.
Amazing dancers, fit human beings. So Kisumu, we were supposed to birth 4 people to Nairobi for the quarterfinals. We ended up taking 12.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's more than double.
Crazy.
Yeah. Babe, it's more than triple.
That's triple.
Oh, yeah, okay. But also triple is more than double. So it's triple is more than double.
But by the way,
It's true though, isn't it?
Cinema only.
So we have regional qualifiers and national.
and then Mombasa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mombasa, I think.
I want a clip of her whistling. Just cut that bit on.
Mombasa, every single one of us at some point cried. And we cried because we were just so freaking proud of just the work that had been done and how much the local dance community had really built some camaraderie, some unity. It kind of as an opposite, Nairobi, we're seeing, because there's so much amazing talent in Nairobi and there's more opportunities in Nairobi, people really stick to their cliques, which doesn't happen so much in the other spaces. And the problem with sticking with your clique is you'll benchmark yourself against the best person in your clique. Not the best person in your county, not the best person, just the best person in your clique.
Yeah.
So what you're seeing in Nairobi is people are great in their spaces. Don't moisten this mic, you know. Moisten this mic. People are the best in their spaces, but in terms of transferable stuff, that's less. Whereas that was the norm for Kisumu and Mombasa. So it's almost like a major shift around. And the shift around is a choice. Mombasa and Kisumu, it's almost like they made a choice, especially Mombasa. I was speaking to one of the dancers, Moose. Like they insisted on unity, they insisted on togetherness. And as a result of that, there's this great transferability of skills. Whereas in Nairobi, because there's so many opportunities and because people can do really well just in their silos, now when it comes to this kind of like freestyle, street style, battle kind of culture, which requires your skill set to be really broad, it does feel as if the choice to be more your favorite word, insular, in your
forgotten
teams has meant that, there hasn't been the same, like the level of growth in Mombasa, like I said, we all shed tears. Like that's the level of growth. In Nairobi, there's some dancers who have grown like crazy, but as an industry as a whole, not to the same extent as other places.
I'm excited for the finals. We'll be there. I'll drag these guys.
I'm
We'll come
really
to the
excited
finals,
for the finals. I might have a surprise for guys in the finals. Yes.
When is the finals? You do know dates? August, maybe? 5th?
That's a long.
No, but as well. I was just saying, I just use it as a meme.
No. Just pretend you didn't ask me that question because I'm supposed to know the answer to that off the top of my head.
Oh, but it's in August, somewhere in August, right?
I know that the pre-qualifiers are in July. I think it's August.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
Did you go home with the digital bar?
Did you go home by yourself?
Suffering.
Man, thank you so much, Chiki. I don't know. You guys have anything
One
else? you wanna
final
ask?
marriage question.
go on.
Marriage? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Is
Okay,
beyond sometimes the small spoon?
Ooh. But can he be small though?
In terms
like
of
piggyback,
position,
huh?
I guess.
Bien is a delicious spoon all the time.
Eish.
Okay.
Eish. I'm just gonna give Bien gunshots for no reason.
You know that meme for I don't care if something good is happening to you, it should happen to me. I saw it like someone was asking someone at tea, hey, why are you watching F1 today? And then they just put a photo of them in Monaco.
Wow. Live.
Like, I don't care if something good is happening to you.
It should be happening
Yeah.
to me too.
Is there any further questions?
I don't know. I feel like people have really talked to you about Chiki the dancer, Chiki the wife, Chiki Bien's
The manager. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, there's
for-
none been Chiki the Nigerian.
Yeah, I was gonna. Mine is along those lines.
Like the
Like
Swiss Nigerian. Jollof fried with chocolate.
Yum.
how does it feel? I guess I think that's a shared experience we both have. Like being a mixed girl and like setting up shop away from home.
Ooh. That's a nice question.
That's a good
Yeah.
question. Actually, I was going to talk about that on TikTok tomorrow.
just
Schedule.
Just like
Holy
Gunshots.
you stole a journal.
oh my goodness.
Inject.
I think I'm sure there's a lot of similarities. So in the UK, the interesting thing is there's almost like America, like kind of like the one drop rule. As in, I'm just a black girl in the UK. Like, of course, colorism exists. Of course, within the black community, there are other issues. But outside, then yeah, like I'm a black girl, and then there's particular connotations, positive and negative, that come with that. But you bear the burden of those connotations.
Yeah.
You're not given a pass because you're half white. It's not
Yeah.
like you're a half black girl. No, you're just a black girl. So, so you get all of those connotations. The biggest mind fuck is coming to Kenya and then being a white girl.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I'm white?
Like what?
Really? Since when? Bring me a pot now. Like, I'll make it jollof. Are you mad?
Coming to Kenya and Mzungu now.
Or Chiki Kuruka.
It really actually, I don't know how, the word pissed me off is not enough to explain because, you know, like most of my informative years, first of all, I'm so proud of being a black woman. I definitely feel significantly more of a black woman than I do anything else, mainly because if the world sees you as something where you're raised, that very much becomes a lot of what you are, you know? And because black culture is a culture that I appreciate the most, and I understand there's no monolith of black culture, but I like Caribbean culture, I like African cultures, I like the food, I like, you know, the music, I like a lot of the dynamics. It's cultures that I understand more than anything else. It's cultures that make me feel most at home. So yeah, coming to Kenya, and then it almost felt like all of that was just stripped from my experience. And then anytime you try to kind of say, what do you mean I'm black? People would just remove you from that. And
burst out and
burst
laugh.
out laughing. and I did feel actually that was a thing that was the hardest for me, because it made me realize I don't enjoy the feeling of privilege, because there's being a black woman in the UK is not associated with privilege.
Yeah.
Being a white woman in Kenya is.
Yeah.
And I just felt inherently uncomfortable about being associated with that level of privilege, which I just didn't feel connected to in any way, shape or form, you know? There are some people who love that shit. There are some Kenyans who go to America for a week and come back with a deep twang and love the access that provides them, you know? Nigeria is exactly the same. I just don't enjoy that. I enjoy being more connected with the
Yourself,
people, or the people who are more true to what my life experience has been. I haven't come from a privileged experience. What I find weird as well is my accent in the UK is relatively working class. Kenya doesn't know the difference between a working class British accent.
Of course.
No.
All of it just sounds...
It just sounds
British.
It just sounds like money.
Cup of tea.
It just sounds like money.
A bar of water.
Yeah.
Can I have a bar of water?
So that accent overwhelmingly is not associated with money.
Okay.
This accent of hello, welcome, you're very much welcome. Can I offer you a bottle of water? Is money. So it was weird to me that even just how I speak here, like as soon as I open my mouth, people...
The price goes up.
The price goes up. Whereas in the UK, as soon as I open my mouth, the price goes down. Because I have a working class, because you don't really have the same thing here. Working class would be like, I guess, someone from Buru.
Oh my goodness.
Which is
the ghetto!
No, but Buru, as opposed to like...
Kayole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
As opposed to, where's Kali from?
Kayole.
Kayole, yeah,
Got
exactly.
you. Okay.
So it's kind of like a kind of a nicer part of the hood, you know? But still the hood.
But still the hood,
So my accent is very much still the hood. Yeah, not the roughest part of the hood, but definitely still the hood.
Okay.
So that's, weird as fuck. And still to date. And then you kind of find yourself overcompensating to try and explain, I am black, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, of course I am.
Yeah.
So I don't
Do you
like
speak
that.
any of what are you, Yoruba or
Igbo.
Igbo?
Oga.
Do you speak Igbo?
That's
not
Okay.
anything.
yes. Congratulations. No, I don't speak Igbo. My dad does. So my parents left my dad left as a war refugee. The Biafran War happened in the 60s. So he left as a war refugee. Not refugee because his mum is white, like a war, like leaving because of the war. I don't. In Nigeria also, the overwhelming language is Pidgin, English Pidgin.
Yeah.
We don't have a Kiswahili. We don't have a unified Nigerian language. So a lot of people speak kind of Pidgin English. Yeah.
How important do you think, or how would your experience be different if you spoke Igbo?
It wouldn't be any different.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They wouldn't care.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe it'd give me some like brownie points when I went to Nigeria. I was very blessed. My dad took me to Nigeria from when I was very young.
Yeah.
So it
And
wasn't...
you still go?
Yeah, I love it. I get really pissed off when people say shit about Nigeria. I'm like, this is freaking awesome. Shut up. So no, my dad took me, I think, first time I was 8. No, younger than 8. My sister hadn't yet been born, 7. So again, even I think being in a place like the UK, not living in your country, your parents' cultural country of origin is also interesting. Whereas for me, I had first-hand experience of being there. And it's weird how that changes your narrative, because there is a British-Nigerian reality and then there's a Nigerian reality. And because from very young I'd seen the Nigerian reality, I always found it really hard to be connected as a Nigerian in Britain, because I was like, I've been to Nigeria, this ain't it.
Yeah.
Like, so I always used to really struggle with, what does it mean to be a Nigerian? I don't live there. I don't I live here. What does that look like? It's just a funny thing being different races and in different countries from your, it's just, I guess, a constant learning. But I love Nigeria and always will.
Shout out to Ogas.
Which ones?
Oh, yeah, go
All
on.
of them.
Go on, Chaxy.
All your
I feel
neighbors,
like,
Chaxy, all
I
your
feel like
neighbors.
Chaxy knows hella Ogas.
True, that's true.
The way he
That's
said
very
it,
true.
the way he said it like the oracle, the Oga oracle. True.
You know how Chiki said that, oh, my phone mostly strippers, his phone mostly Ogas.
Yeah. You know Ogas are male.
They're male.
Yeah.
I know that, yeah.
It can't be a
know
Madame Oga.
I know that.
You're madame. Mama.
Madame Oguna.
Your mama. Did they actually use mama in Nigeria?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Madame.
What's Shrek's wife called?
Who?
Fiona?
Fiona. Yeah, Madame Oga is called Fiona. You'll
Mwass.
buffer, but you'll get it after the show.
Yeah, you'll watch. You'll
Chiki.
catch the recording.
If eyes could kill.
No, I just don't like how Nigerian women are spoken about in Kenya.
No,
Always.
Oga because of Oga.
Oh,
Shrek was an
ogre.
Yeah.
No, he was an ogre.
That's why I make a
Oh
stupid
my
joke.
God.
No, because a lot of Kenyan men chat a lot of shit about Nigerian women.
I
Why?
don't. Me, I chat shit about.
He's feeling so bad.
He's like,
I'm
I
like,
like
what's
him.
going on
I don't know what
at
you're
this
talking about.
I'm gonna use Chimano's words. Chimano said, Nigerian women aren't pretty, they're handsome.
That's Chimano. which, if you think about it, it's a compliment.
It's a compliment. It is a compliment.
If you dig deeper.
But that has been my experience so much.
compliment,
Like
yeah.
a lot of Kenyan men,
Yeah.
Kenyan women say Nigerian men are super hot, but Kenyan men say Nigerian women ain't it. Like if you're talking about African
Right.
women.
Who says Kenyan men are
Bruh,
super
I'd
hot?
stare to a savage all day.
Kenyan women say Nigerian men
Are
are
super
super
hot.
hot. Kenyan men say Nigerian women ain't it.
Bruh, I don't know.
Cinnamon, may I just hate on your food?
I think Nigerian women are hot because
Stunning.
they have great hair.
I mean, you don't often see them.
Like the Nigerian women I've met, I don't know why. I've met a lot of Nigerian women who
Phenomenal
are really
hair.
with phenomenal thick hair and like brows for days. Like when Lil Wayne said Nigerian hair, he was not joking.
No, for real.
That shit
Yes,
is
For
like,
reals.
whoa, volume.
Yeah, and actually it's true because it's a shame publicly. Like if you look at the media, you don't see so many naturalistas. It's still a lot of wigs
weaves
and
and-
Which is
bows and-
crazy because they have good hair. You know, they're not like Kenyans who are out here struggling like, see my man, what Ernest here. Ubuntu, how he's just trying to collect them on his head.
Kenyans have good hair. Kenyans have
I'm
good
Kenyan.
hair.
I'm full Kenyan. Am I
feel
full
like
Kenyan?
You look like you have some
I
Nigerian.
feel like Kenyans have great hair. I just feel like there's nothing like some people are good looking and some people are not good looking.
That-
Like,
Yeah, no.
I mean, for me, I just picked the best traits from all over the continent, then
Put
put
it
them
in one
together, and then
person.
became me. Yeah,
Oh, and then it became the Lord.
yeah.
The Lord.
Okay.
It was pretty easy for me.
Cinnamon. You know, like I ate jollof rice because of the hype, and then it just ended up being rice and tomato sauce.
Then you didn't make. Then you
Tomato
didn't.
rice.
Then because that is a dish
Yeah.
in Nigeria. Like
Yeah.
some people make jollof, some people make tomato rice. It just means that you
I ate at the wrong place.
yeah.
Yeah.
It just means you ate shit jollof.
Oh, yeah. You had jollof made by Oguna somewhere.
There's a place near where
You
I
had
live,
one boy's jollof.
and we were laughing about this recently because my friend was telling there's a place near where I live. It's a fully Swahili Bara Swahili dishes.
And then they have
something.
jollof just there.
No. It's fully authentic Swahili food. It was really nice. And then when we were paying the M-PESA, it just brought a Kikuyu name. It's like Josephat Mwangi. I was like,
Big up Josephat Mwangi, man. Like I love that. I love that shit.
Then that
Big up
means
Josephat.
he did a good job with
Yeah.
the chef or whoever's in the kitchen because they probably got someone actually, a Swahili
Yes.
person who actually knows how.
just let me
or
bring
just
like,
someone who learns.
business expertise, and then you bring your Swahiliness.
Yeah.
I just learned when I moved to Kenya, like Kenyans are not Swahili people. I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, you thought we were all Swahili?
Oh wow.
yeah.
Mainly
Us in
the coastal
Uganda,
region.
you're all but Swahili.
That's so
what's
interesting. I'd
Swahili?
never known that was a thing until I moved here. I just knew runners.
Yeah, because I'm like, we are the percentage of Kenyans that speak Swahili is very small, actually. Like the
So what do
Swahili
you guys
Oh, the
speak
Swahili
now?
The Swahili. No, we speak
Mambo
Swahili as
and
a
Po as
language,
what?
but
Yeah.
the
It's a
Swahili
national
people,
language, yeah.
the Swahili people are mainly in the coastal region.
So Mambo Poa is what
That's
language?
Swahili, the
That's
language.
Swahili. But that's
We have a language and we have Swahili people.
Culture.
Oh,
culture.
okay.
Yeah.
And damn good food. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me just ask you guys a real honest question.
Let's go. What up?
Kenya is one of my favorite countries in the world. Not just because I live here. In general, it's one of my favorite countries in the world.
thank you.
With the exception of, and I remove the coast from this.
Bland food.
Wagwan for that.
Yeah.
Listen.
Crazy.
First of all,
For that.
It's
first of all,
crazy.
I come from a community that us.
Just fat and crew. Wagwan for that.
So I was told, okay, so there's the fun that they make of us, and then there's what we lost when you're fighting for independence. So my community has a lot of one-pot meals because that's what the Mau Mau fighters could do in the forest. So everything in one pot, water, boil, salt, that's it.
But we're not in the forest anymore.
I know,
No,
but
no,
we
it's become
lost our
nostalgic.
culture.
It's become
we didn't
nostalgic.
have much of it in the kitchen.
But I'm going to challenge that. It's become nostalgic. But then why is it the case that if you look at, let's say, people who were part of the slave trade, who also had very minimal means, or if you take Igbo people who had generations of starvation as a result of the Biafran War.
Yeah. They used
They
the
bounced
spice.
back with the
They used spices to elevate that the little they had.
Yeah. So
I
you guys,
personally
because Forest has a lot of
Yeah.
time. Oregano.
You're not trying to be. You're not trying to leave a lot of evidence. Like, if we leave the ginger here, they'll think we were never here.
No, my theory is, and I've said this a lot to people recently, when you zoom out of the map of Africa and you just see like terrain, you see and you just see it in colors, you find that it gets greener the moment you cross the border to Uganda and gets even greener as you get into DRC. There's a lot of sand and dust and yellow on the
On this side
Kenyan
of it,
on the
especially
Kenyan
our eastern
side.
side.
So like Bambi, it's not your fault. You guys don't really have much to work with.
No, I would
You know?
say the opposite. Nigeria is arid. Like Nigeria we don't grow shit. Like we import so much. Like Kenya has
That sounds like good
10
business.
trillion greens. Like if you go to Western Kenya, man, there's 10,000 million greens.
So you see, that's closer
Delicious.
to UG.
Yeah.
Tasty, fresh, but I'm just talking about the
Yeah.
African continent in general.
Yeah.
Like East Africa is significantly more vegetative
Yeah,
We're at
than
the
other
border. We're at the equator.
than other areas.
Yeah.
Like Nigeria is half of it. The northern part is all desert. So I feel like that's not a good excuse. But I feel like your story
My
of
people.
Of the Mau Mau.
Yeah.
the Mau Mau
Then y'all niggas
Was conjured up. I don't know.
might be something.
Yeah.
There might be something in that. I think Kenya has the freshest food though. Like of
Freshest.
all the different African countries that I've been to, Kenya has some of the most naturally tasty food.
Yeah.
Like as
And you
in,
said you've been to Uganda?
okay,
Uganda
so
have portions.
can I tell you something? Shady?
No, the food is
Have
also
bigger
really
portions.
fresh.
No. Uganda's very fresh. I feel like Uganda is real evidence of how bland Kenyan food is because, again, no shade. Ugandan food also ain't that flavorful, but Kenyans talk about Ugandan food like it is.
It is
it's
the
home.
shit.
It's the home of flavor.
Have you had
when I went
Rolex?
there, I was like,
Chapati
sorry,
now.
what is this that you guys have been hyping me up about?
It's
Like,
not also that flavorful.
It's
you know, it's just
not.
like there's a lot of variety of food that they serve. Like me when I came to Kenya and
But
they
fresh,
gave me
definitely
posho,
Yeah.
greens. And that was it. I said, guys, am I in prison?
That's true. I
Like-
told this story on the podcast. I discovered spices in campus. I knew salt was it.
yeah.
no.
I had garam masala for the first time. Bro! You know,
Salt and pepper. That's it.
we didn't have pepper, we had salt.
Yeah.
It was salt, and
No
salt was just a
Royco.
pinch.
Yeah, not even.
Like they're cooking a whole ass meal, and then my mom just does this. And, you know, if you have too much of it, you'll get CG blood pressure or something. So I went. I'm with my cousin. So keep in mind, my elder brother goes to school to study culinary arts. Comes back with soy sauce. I thought it was a bottle of whiskey. I'm not even kidding. I was like, what drink is this? He's like, bro, listen. This opens up and it's like, this is called paprika. I'm like, what does it do? Shh. Let's see. And now I think that's
Introducing you to drugs.
yeah, that's why I got into cook. I made Chaxy some food yesterday night. Now I love cooking.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I was discovering it was like, you know, like when
So do you cook now for your family?
not for my family. I live alone.
For the friends.
No, but
So you go back home and cook for your
and
mum?
cook for your mum.
No, so when I go
Aki
back
boy,
home,
yeah. So
no,
you
my
just
bro
let-
cooks,
so
or
you
we
let-
pay
just-
someone to cook.
you
I
just
don't.
let her taste
I don't like
some
cooking.
extra-
Like I can't cook for all of you. I like cooking like small meals.
portion, yeah.
But if you're like
So
14
you just
of
do
you,
you and mum. Aki, that,
No, you know what
imagine
we
if
do?
you've only had salt your whole life and you're there.
I bring takeout. Or I take them to nice restaurants,
That's
and I'm
not
like,
nice.
Yeah, you take them to nice
did you
restaurants.
know that this has spices? Did you? I was discovering spices like how a teenager discovers porn categories. Like, you think MILF is it? And then you discover, I was like, what's garam masala? It's like, and then they just add some shit, and then they're like, this
Have
is
you ever
smoked
used
paprika.
nutmeg?
Nutmeg, I found out. I thought nutmeg was like chobo. You know, like when you're playing football.
Yeah, no.
That's That's all
That's
I
a
knew.
nutmeg, yeah.
I went back home. I was so mad at my dad. I was like, this rack over here in the kitchen
That's empty.
is not supposed to have plates. Like we have enough plates. Yo. And then up to now, my dad doesn't eat spices, just salt. So he says, and that's why he's lived that long. So he tells us, I'm like, oof, I'm not living on Githerian salt until I'm 70. Let me
and
have
even
some.
the concept of githeri is
Because I used to
No
wonder, like,
offense.
what's up, yeah.
No,
I like
githeri
the nice-
can be
nicely
really
cooked
nice if
githeri,
it's
right?
cooked nicely.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
it's cooked nice. Even Kenya's hatred of cabbage. Like Kenyans who went to
Oh,
boarding
I don't
like
school.
cabbage.
I like
All
cabbage.
Kenyans who go to boarding school
Yeah, same. I had
have
too
a
much
beef with
terrible
cabbage.
I don't think cabbage should ever see heat. That's the problem.
Yeah, just a small bit with some salt, some soy sauce.
I like crunchy. I like cabbage
Yeah,
in coleslaw,
crunchy,
in
yeah.
salads, and whatever.
No, you can
Yeah.
have it just al dente.
yeah.
They used to boil it in my
I
home
know.
and then do this.
And that
And
stinks
salt.
as well.
Oh my God.
Back to your pinch of
Oh my God.
back to your pinch of salt.
Dania.
But
Dania in our house was like Christmas only, I guess.
Kenya has very fresh food, and you realize it when you leave. Like when you go to the States, especially Western countries, the
Yeah.
amount of preservatives that's put in food.
Yeah. Okay.
Not just Western countries, like even God bless my West African brothers and sisters, man. Ghana, Nigeria, like just the
Yeah.
sheer volume of stuff that has to be put into the food because of the lack of like I think just freshly
Yeah.
grown
Yeah.
like options of greens and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Then you come to Kenya and you're like, wow, I can just taste
Yeah.
all
And
that
it's everywhere.
The freshness.
the freshness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's such a big deal. I think one of my favorite advertising campaigns is called the Moldy Whopper, where who makes the Whopper? Is it Burger King?
yeah.
Yeah, they actually put burgers like outside in the streets to just show that they rot.
Oh, because of
To
the
show them, like,
shady.
no
to show
preservatives.
them
Because
that they're real.
They
McDonald's
put a burger
doesn't.
out
Like
in the
it's
streets for
real.
days and it was rotting.
Oh.
Yeah, because
And then
McDonald's
guys were doing the
done.
challenge on TikTok
no,
with
that's
like competitor
awesome.
brands. Like I think what's the other one?
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
It doesn't rot.
Yeah, you buy it, you put it in your house for 30 days. It's still
More.
intact.
You know, there's
Wow.
years. It doesn't break
Yeah.
down for years.
So them they were saying our bread after a few days gets moldy, or whatever starts stinking, whatever.
Even
So,
festive bread here doesn't get moldy.
Yeah.
It doesn't get moldy. Apparently, there was a dad. He was trying to teach his kid like the concept of molding. Then they did the home science experiments. Actually, they experimented, but the bread refused to mold. They waited. The bread was still white. You know, after like 2 weeks, and it just kind of makes you think like, shit. Will our kids eat the same food that us we ate growing up?
That's scary.
Because I almost ate, but I definitely have
If we have
eaten.
kids.
No,
Big
but also
if.
but Chinese food also is very fresh. No,
No, you
proper
can,
proper Chinese
but
food.
it's expensive. Like I've lived there, and you can go when you're buying chicken. There's chicken for 5 RMB a kilo, and then there's chicken for
R&B,
yeah.
Sorry,
Boys to Men, and
You can sing 5 songs.
Ren Minbi. That's the currency of China. RMB. M.
Oh. We have to know it now because we owe you guys a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So sorry, R&B.
Yeah, Ren Minbi, the money of the people in direct translation.
Oh, wow.
It's not yen.
Yuan, not yuan.
Yen is Japan.
Yen
Yen.
is Japan,
Okay.
and then
Yuan is yours.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sheshe.
But anyways, back to my point.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if it's all chicken, why is it differently priced? And then it also, there's size
Organic,
differences, you know? Like you see a chicken wing that looks like an ostrich wing, you know, it's huge. And then there's another one that's like super, super tiny. And like, I got a lump in my breast, like a small lump when I was eating chicken a lot. My mom told me, just stop eating chicken. And when I did, it just disappeared. So it's just like the hormones that are injected in food in China to satisfy the demand of that many people is ridiculous. Like, chickens have to be fatter to satisfy the demand. Chickens have to grow faster because, like, who's going to wait for a chicken to live its whole life before I eat it? Kind of vibes. But yeah, you get fake rice, like guys package plastic rice. You
I saw
know,
that shit. Even fake cabbage.
fake everything.
No one's buying that.
Because there's not enough organic food. Because more people are eating than they are growing.
Yeah, Bien's mum eats everything from her garden.
Yeah.
From her own garden.
From her garden, and she'll
That's
tell
right,
you every time she cooks. This kunde is organic.
Yeah.
From my garden.
In the garden.
See, just here, Uko. This ugali is organic.
Because I grew it in my garden.
I just grew it. And then she always gets animals that she thinks she's gonna kill, and then falls in love with them. So now, she
That's
has
like people looking for
where she has 3, and then Bien's dad is like, I'm living a nightmare. Like, she has 3 cows, a cat. I tried to get her to adopt another cat whilst I was there last time. She didn't have it. A few chicken. I have my chicken there called Red Bull. She has so many animals, and they're all supposed to be for food, and they never get eaten.
Because she falls in love with the
She
animals.
falls in love with them. They're just like her pets after a while.
No,
A
but
whole
that chicken
bull,
must be
a whole
buzzing.
bull. You'll just see her just talking to the bull like, "Hi, Shadow, how are you?" I'm like, "This is a freaking bull.
That's a nice
Kill
life.
you, it'll kill you."
Me, I've always wanted to have a farm, but I don't want to do the farming.
Yeah, it stinks.
Yeah. I just want to have it. Like, just tell people I have
Hers
cows.
never stinks though. I don't know.
I
what
want to
she
have
does.
a farm, but because I'll hire people to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
but
tell
I
people
wanna
like I
have
have cows.
Yeah, I just want.
How
drink
many?
fresh milk.
What's your goal?
Just maybe like 5 of everything. 5 goats, 5 cows, 5 chicken.
Yeah,
5 rabbits,
I'm like
5
that.
dogs,
Every
yeah.
time I see animals, I'm like,
Yeah.
I just want one.
You
I
want
want
to keep
yeah.
I want
Just-
a monkey so bad.
Yes.
a monkey look nice.
And then a miniature pig.
Oh, but it'll grow.
It will grow.
No, there's micro pigs.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
To just keep.
Just for vibes.
Bro, your dogs will eat that thing.
Not my dogs.
Let me tell you. Oh, the fans asked us to do random facts. So, did you know that pigs can orgasm for up to 30 minutes? Now you know.
That is a real
Fontana
fun
needs
fact.
to tell us.
That is a real fun fact.
30 minutes.
Lucky pigs.
I know.
Pigs can cheat. Your wife comes home and just finds you like, what happened
Hey, pigs are lucky, man.
Oh my God! Shout out to the pigs.
Shout out to the
Yeah,
pigs.
I think that's a good point to end it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, unless you want to add anything.
Nada.
You can't add anything to that.
That's.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing you can say that's better than that.
Chaxy. This was fun. I got it right.
Chaxy calls me Chixie.
That's
I got
cute.
it. That's
Chaxy.
Chaxy and Chiki.
Chiki.
Chaxy, yeah.
That's cute.
Chixie.
Thank you for being a
Chaxy.
beautiful
Thank
sport.
you.
This was fun, man. I had fun recording. And yeah, hopefully we can do this again at some point.
Yeah.
You should do it with me and Bien one day.
Whoa,
Oh, that would be fire.
bro! Yes,
Kwanzaa, that would be fire.
yes.
fire.
Actually, when we're
absolutely.
doing the BN episode, you can pop in.
We
do BN
will.
for like an hour.
We'll
and then
cuss
pop
each
in.
other out real time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll gradually leave the podcast.
Yes!
and then we'll have and then we can have 2 cards, and then you just randomly open, and there's a fun fact, a question, a trigger.
Babe, tell guys about
Yes.
your briefs.
Yeah.
People want to know about your briefs. Tell
Let's
them.
do it.
Like-
Let's do it. I'm down. Let's do it.
You're like, so Bien, how many minutes does it take a pig to orgasm? It's like, what the
We
fuck?
can, and then anyone who doesn't know take shots.
Yeah, and then like 30.
Yeah, we can do it like a
it's gonna be
shots
dope.
game.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do
Like
it.
if you don't know, you
That'll be
take a
fun.
shot.
Let's do
Yeah.
it. That'll be
We'll
fun.
title the episode, Bien and Chiki finally closed their marriage. End of discussion.
Clickbait for days.
That's lovely.
You have so many people just.
Oh my God! All right, cool. I think that's a good point to end
Yes,
it.
sir.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Have an amazing week. Be kind to each other. Episode 66.
Rap,
We are
rap,
Mike
rap,
Check.
rap, rap,
Be
rap.
blessed.
Over 26. This is
This is the Brunch Club.
Over 26. Isn't it genius?
Now, when you watch it, you'll understand.